Fucking A.
All right, MMA podcast, right?
MMA podcast, not
Right.
the let's get into our feelings podcast. So, MMA Fools, we're back. We are short one Kyle and up one Nicolette.
Hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm good as well, if you guys cared to ask me about it.
We just heard about how you were
Yeah.
doing. I was trying not to jump back into
Yeah.
it.
Okay, well, I needed it to continue. I couldn't let it go.
You didn't let it go
Welcome to
yet.
my world, Brad.
Yeah, just like no one even acknowledges you exist. It's just like
Yeah.
pull up welterweight division. That's like literally interaction with you.
Sometimes I do feel bad. I feel like we're like too bossy.
Yeah, fucking look up this fighter. That's it.
Jacob, why are you on this site? Oh, shit. All right. Well, we do have one fight card to recap, one fight card to preview. We actually have very little news. There wasn't a lot in the news this week.
Not really
so.
with like signings. Well, actually, I think there's a few signings. If you look at like two fighters that were like champions got signed or undefeated or whatever. But fucking fuck them, you know. Right, fuck them. That's what I say.
That's the mood you're in now.
yeah. Fuck it all, right?
Fuck it all. Well, maybe we'll get into that during the news portion. Since you've never done it before, we recap the fight, then we'll go into the rankings and try to pick fights we think make sense for the winners, and depending on who the loser is, sometimes the loser as well.
And sometimes we'll skip. Like if like the fight isn't really relevant to like the top 20, probably.
Yeah,
Like
if it's like 45 and 50.
It's like,
All right.
Yeah, because then we look at the names, we're like, well, we don't know them.
yeah. Fight that
Fair
guy.
Yeah,
Who's just a
fight
random
that guy
42.
up above you. That's good.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into a little bit of news, and then we'll preview the next card, maybe the next card after that.
We scan it. We usually like go into more of an in-depth preview for the next card, but then we scan over the rest of like the next few weeks,
Yeah.
just to see what we have coming down the pipeline. I think. So.
Sounds good.
All right. I'm dying of thirst because I tried to see how much alcohol I could fit into my body yesterday. So
I feel like every week it's like the same story. It's like I'm gonna cut back on.
what the fuck are you saying?
I'm just saying
That
like
sounds like you're calling him an alcoholic.
I'm not. No, it's.
I barely even have any liquor here.
I didn't even look around. Relatively, right? I mean,
Yeah. No, I did drink less this week.
that's good.
Yeah.
I think if you taper.
Yeah, I got to taper it off.
Yeah.
I don't want to be shaken.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
just kidding. It's not that bad.
It's embarrassing.
Just to everybody out there, it's not that bad. Jacob, you looking at me like you don't believe me.
I think you offended all the shakers, people
all
watching.
the shakers,
the people shake.
all the
yeah.
movers and the shakers out in the world.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the fight night.
All right. So last night.
All right, so we're going to go over UFC Fight Night, Ortega versus Jung. This was a little bit of a surprise. We're going to start at the bottom, as usual, with Almeida versus Martinez. And Martinez did win by decision.
Yeah, it was competitive, but it wasn't really close every round.
Yeah, I agree. I think Martinez clearly won the fight. You said Kyle thought Almeida won.
Yeah, but I don't see that.
I don't think Thomas Almeida has been what he was and will ever be what he was at one point.
Yeah, well, he took like 2 years off, so this is a comeback fight. But he was very young, but like even the way he fought back then, it's like he was very reckless and would get caught even in the fights he did win.
Well,
so.
unfortunately for his 2-year takeoff, it did not work out for him the same way it did for Ortega.
No.
Right. Well, I think it depends on like how much ceiling somebody has as a fighter. It's hard to gauge because, like I said before the podcast, that like Ortega's striking was so rudimentary whenever he fought previously that it was serviceable, but he had so much room for improvement. And Almeida looked like the same version of the fighter he was before. You know, not any worse or better, but the division sort of passed him by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, this was at featherweight, wasn't it?
Yeah, he went up a weight class, so maybe the weight, you know, he looks like, I mean, not very big or not small or anything like that, but still.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I mean, his boxing looked clean, Chris, but just outclassed by Martinez. Honestly, looking at those stats, that's closer than I really even thought it was. That's a little surprising.
Sometimes I think it's like, it depends on how they score, like what strike is, like 73 strikes. It depends on what like significant strike is, or like if it's a jab compared to like, you know, a power punch too. Like some of the striking stats look a little bit off.
Don't try to act like a jab can't be a power punch.
It can. Not every time, but if you have a good jab, I guess it could be a power punch. But.
Ortega's looked like a power punch.
Yeah, well, that was like his most effective strike, I think, of the whole fight was his jab keeping him at bay.
The jab is if you have a solid jab, you can build off of it no matter what.
And I don't know why. I think it's pretty underutilized too
Mm-hmm.
in MMA in terms of like establishing a good jab, especially when you have a good reach. And like,
Yeah.
I guess like even the
It's a good use of distance.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and like especially like if you compare like a good jab, and like you look at the Chukagian fight and like how tall she is and how long she is, and her jab really wasn't there against somebody who's way shorter than she was.
Mm-hmm.
Way shorter. Like,
Yeah.
It seemed like Andrade should have never even came close to her.
Right.
That's the height difference. What was it, like 7 or 8 inches?
Yeah, and it's embarrassing to like not have a long range sort of jab to keep somebody at bay coming in.
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. Just shitting on her.
There you go already.
Yeah, he goes already shitting on
It's
women fighting.
pitiful, actually. Embarrassing is the best way to put it. Actually.
Listen, we brought Nicolette in
I-
here to try to round
Temper
out
my-
your hate for women, like just try to give it some rounded
Misogynistic.
edges.
She's just gonna be the brunt of my fucking venom now. That's it.
I'm used to it. Trust me.
Yeah. If you train, I imagine you know you've been around worse men than me. Maybe, hopefully, right?
Oh,
I don't know.
All right, we gotta quit getting into Brandon's psyche here.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like on it's like a roast, but also a therapy. It's like a fucking self roast, but
I feel like you're over there by yourself, but almost
I
backed
don't
into
like-
a corner.
Yeah, it's like the fucking proximity of myself being around nobody makes me feel caged. You know? So, all right. Well, this fight was pretty good actually.
It was
though.
a fun
it was
fight.
a fun fight to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I can't really gauge because it's hard to gauge how good Almeida is right now. So it's hard to about Martinez's future. I don't know what his like ceiling is in terms of like moving up, but he's a fun fighter.
Yeah.
And he's very skilled, but
Honestly, at flyweight, right? I mean, we'll take a look at it, but I mean, I think he definitely has some potential.
yeah.
Featherweight.
Featherweight? Sorry, you're right. Featherweight.
We were talking about Andrade.
That's right.
So.
Yeah.
All right, so Martinez gets the win by decision. Fun fight. Let's move on to Silva versus Krause.
I enjoyed this fight.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed it as well.
I'm very impressed with James Krause.
Yeah. Well, and we should say James Krause wins by a third-round decision. I never thought this fight was really close.
No, and I feel like he did a great job establishing distance.
And
With his strikes.
nullifying that jiu-jitsu and takedowns.
Right. He didn't really get in a lot of bad positions on the ground. I think he got 2 takedowns.
Yeah. But again, no bad position from it. Claudio Silva was throwing punches like a broke version of Wanderlei Silva. He was leading with his head hooks, not even looking at the target. It was not a pretty stand-up display.
I think he was on a 14-fight win streak.
He was, but I want to know who.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and look at his record. I want to know who the
Probably
fuck he was.
taxi cab drivers from Brazil. That's who he's been beating.
He's fighting Conor McGregor's past opponents.
Yeah. It's like
some
janitors.
grandpa at the bar.
Yeah.
Well, let's not feel too bad about getting off topic, because last night Dan Hardy literally talked about 2 different Hannibal names and gave us a history lesson. So
Yeah.
He did too.
He
I
did.
forgot about that. And
Daniel Cormier was like, I don't even know who Hannibal, whatever, who that
Right.
even is.
And then he made Cormier feel bad about it. Cormier was like, "Oh, I guess I should know who it is."
I have mixed feelings about Dan Hardy, but that's for another conversation.
I feel like sometimes he's pretty on point and pretty good, but other times he's just completely off.
Yeah.
It's very hit or miss. But a lot of the commentators that aren't the main guys, the people we always hear, a lot of them are sort of hit or miss in terms of commentating. But yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know who any of these people are. So good job on that 14 fight. Oh, Edwards.
Oh, Leon Edwards.
He beat Leon Edwards. Shut the fuck up. Oh, in 2014.
On my birthday.
That's your birthday?
That's my birthday.
Coming right up. That's crazy. He beat
Wow.
Leon Edwards. It was forever ago, but still.
It was a split decision, so
So he probably lost.
probably.
damn.
I'm just
Sitting on
saying.
his best win of his career, just he probably lost. No.
Split decision. You act like we haven't talked about the judges
MMA
plenty of
judging
times.
is so terrible.
Yeah, and it's hard to even. It's hard to know how they're gonna judge a fight because I don't know who the 3 people are in their judging criteria because I feel like most of them aren't fans. So it's like boxing judges.
I was just going to say it all comes from boxing, and which is the most ridiculous thing in an MMA fight.
You think there'd be a better system of bringing up old MMA fighters
Why is
Sam Stout? There's no way he or whoever random fighter.
Big John McCarthy?
Yeah, anyone could be a random
Who wrote the
judge.
rules?
Yeah,
Well, to me, what else is ridiculous though is it all comes from boxing, but then all of a sudden some guy will get 2 takedowns and it wins him the entire fight.
yeah, and then even
There's
if they did
no
no damage.
consistency even.
Right. That's the best way to put it. There's no consistency in judging in MMA at all.
But back to James Krause. He did get a 3rd round decision. He pretty much completely outclassed Silva. what was crazy to me is I didn't realize that he was such a serious and dedicated coach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention a fantastic fighter. I mean, he looked great, even with his knee was blown out at some point, and he still looked amazing. It didn't even seem to really bother him that much.
He also took this fight in short notice, and that was the same thing as his last fight at middleweight. He went up there in the middleweight and fought
That's
short
right.
notice, and he lost that fight, but it was very close too. And he got out in that fight. But I mean, like, it's nice to have somebody stepping up on short notice and fighting and doing well. You know, it's nice to prove to the UFC that you're able to do that.
Well, and he actually said that he wanted to take this fight because he has the future, the rest of the year and going forward. So many of the guys from his gym are fighting, and he has to corner them.
Yeah.
So he's not going to have time to fight forever.
Yeah.
It just seems crazy to me. Like, you're a UFC level fighter, and you're worrying about other people's careers. I mean, I think it's cool, but
Right.
it just seems crazy.
He there's a kid out of Pittsburgh. I hope I don't butcher his last name. His name's Josh Frem, and he was at the Mat Factory, and now he's out of Factory X, and he just fought in LFA last night and absolutely demolished the kid he fought.
Really?
So I mean, they've got a good squad out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe he doesn't take his like career aspirations as high as some. Maybe he's just fighting to supplement income, you know. And I'm not saying like it's not bad, you know, if you're a good fighter and you win, but I don't think he cares about like rising the ranks as much as somebody else who's like a little bit younger and not having being tethered to a gym in the way he is.
To me, it just seems kind of crazy though, because if he's giving these other people more attention than he's giving his own skill set, and he looks that good striking, I mean, what would you do if you focused on yourself a little bit?
Right.
And I remember him on the Ultimate Fighter, and he actually came a long way since the Ultimate Fighter. He's a lot better than he used to be. So, like, I think also, but like iron sharpens iron too. If you're training with killers and they're all coming up and they're younger than you, I think he's like 33. So, like, he's not old, but you have a 24-year-old that's, you know, young and athletic and you know, more has a lot more youth and vigor. But it's like you know, you get to keep up with them too. So training them and sparring with them and being in the gym every day is good for veteran fighters, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving right along, we're going to get to Crute. And, all right, here we go.
Oh, Jimmy
Bukowskis. First of all, great tattoo. Resident Evil. I'm a fan. What's the other one? Anybody?
I don't know what that is.
Which one are you looking at?
Well, the one on his left tit.
I was going to say peck, but okay.
Bring up Crute tattoo. Real fat. No, don't do that. See how about it.
But the other one is a Resident Evil tattoo. I don't know. I'm a fan. But this was a first round TKO
Yes,
KO,
it was.
vicious KO by Jimmy Crute.
Yeah, and
He caught him with an uppercut on the way up too that I thought put Homeboy into a different stratosphere.
It got ugly quick.
Yes, it did.
and he has a good record in UFC. He's like 5-1. So and I think he's only been like he got tapped out, and he's a pretty good prospect at light heavyweight.
I think he's going to be a problem. Personally,
I mean, a lot of strength. His speed didn't look bad. His timing was definitely good because this guy definitely seemed like he was a faster fighter. He was more active in the form of like bouncing around, trying to use the whole space of the cage. But every time he came in, he was getting clipped. And then all of a sudden, what was it? A monstrous right hand, and he fell back. Then on his way up, got smashed with an uppercut.
Yeah. And then on the left, I think. It was,
and then another one.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Crute actually said in the post fight, he said he was actually about to just do the walk off, and then he realized that he had to jump on him.
I feel like looking.
Everybody wants to be Mark Hunt.
Yeah, but sometimes it's like sometimes it's so preemptive. It's like it looks fucking dumb. I'm like, he's not even that out. I mean, it's just like even like when Mark Hunt, like I think the Frank Mir knockout was like he was out, but like the referee kind of stopped him just because he walked off. I don't like that.
Sean O'Malley's was definitely he deserved to just turn away and walk away.
Yeah, some of them
one.
are very deserved. Some of them was like, man, you're just trying to will the stoppage into existence. Besides actually stopping
I
him.
can see that, yeah.
And I honestly don't think people who are trying to move up the rankings should do it anyway, because perfect example of it backfiring is definitely Anderson Silva versus Michael Bisping. Because he definitely had Michael Bisping out, went and celebrated, and they were like, no, dude, he's good to go.
Yeah.
And then he
Lost
ended up
the
losing
fight.
that fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's weird seeing people with a lot of movement, 'cause it's like I can't tell whether or not it's like intelligent or like, because sometimes people move around just unnecessarily and it's wasted. And it's like sometimes it's better to be more stationary and pick your shots, and like it depends on the fighter too. But like, you know, you mentioned him moving around a lot. It's like, well, was that intelligent movement or was that just like?
Well, it looked like decent footwork. I didn't get enough of a sample size to decide that like he really knew what he was doing with it.
No. But like he didn't get knocked out, so it's like
no matter how good your footwork is, though, if you have terrible entries, you're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
And Crute also, changed levels well. He went for the one takedown, didn't get it, but still, it puts another thing for Modestus to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think light heavyweight's so bare in terms of like upper movement that like you can. He's 5-1. That's a great record at light heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
He should get a top 10 guy pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, well, and it's wide open now with Jones exiting,
and especially a lot of older fighters aging out. Like even like someone like Thiago Santos, who's still great, but like he's 30, like 37.
Don't talk about my.
I'm not talking about him, but like in 2 years, where's he gonna be?
Thiago Santos?
Yeah, I just think he's aggressive. I'm a fan of that
but
fight
like,
style.
2 years though, where's he gonna be at? And you have somebody young in the division coming up too.
It's crazy that he used to fight at middleweight because
he used to fight at welterweight.
No, he was at middleweight too because he fought Musasi, and I'm pretty sure
middleweight.
Musasi.
UFC 200, he got knocked out by Musasi. Well, it was TKO by Musasi.
Yeah,
but he was also at welterweight
I
before
didn't know that.
Yeah, he was like really skinny back then.
Even crazier than that is Rumble Johnson fighting at welterweight.
Yeah, pretty. I
knew that.
Not as bad. I mean,
Santos isn't as bad.
Isn't as bad, but
Rumble Johnson's a fucking silverback gorilla fighting a welterweight.
Yeah.
Like, how did you ever make that cut?
He only made it like half the time. I think sometimes
he didn't always make it.
He was like 175 at like one fight. I'm like, dude, just go up.
Yeah, what's the point in that?
Well, it's actually one of the reasons he did have to exit the UFC for a while, and then he was like, "Oh man, they kicked me out of the UFC for not making weight. Guess I'll be a light heavyweight."
Yeah,
like how drastic of a difference that is, right?
He fucking missed weight at 185. He fought against Devore and got choked out at 185 and missed weight in that fight.
Yeah.
And like that was his first fight from 170, and then he got kicked out and went to I think Titan FC or something like that and won the title. So. But
yeah, sidetracked again for a little bit. But Jimmy Crute, vicious KO. Can't wait to see him fight again. Hey, who knows? Maybe Rumble Johnson will be a fight for him since he's coming back.
I don't know.
Don't do it.
Unless you have a good, ground game and submission game, then you can maybe choke him out because he gives up his neck pretty easily. But
you don't want to get touched by his right hand or left hand.
Getting him there is
or
like
kick.
An
issue. Or anything that's going to connect with your body.
Right. All right, so moving along, we're going to Shakugian. I can never say her name. Shakagian. I can never say her goddamn name. Versus Andrade. I couldn't believe how good Andrade looked at this weight class. She looked like a little chubby ball of muscle and fast. Yeah.
She fought at 135. That's nuts. She fought at, when she first came to the UFC, she fought at 135.
That's crazy because she's so small.
She's very small.
She's very short.
What is she? I think she's 5 foot. And I think, say her name again?
Andrade?
Shakagian.
Oh, yeah.
I think
she's 7'2".
She's 7. She's
at least 7'2".
She is Manu Bull's daughter.
That was funny.
Oh, I forget they give us a weird weight like height 61.5. Anybody?
What is that?
Anybody?
61 divided by 12. Anyone?
Yeah. Anyone? Aren't you? Didn't you go to college or something, Jacob? Jesus Christ.
I mean, we all have calculators.
Right, you guys' phones.
I'm not doing any actual work on the podcast. We have Jacob to do that.
Wait,
it's 5 something.
Every one of us is like Jacob.
Yeah, like 5'1".
Like it's like basically small as fuck and big as fuck. That's how tall they are.
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to.
So
and reach wise, like 8 inches. Right?
I'm never gonna be able to say her name.
Shakagian.
Chew, like Chewy.
Yeah.
Chukagian.
She looks like D. She looks like D from It's Always Sunny. She reminds me of D from It's Always Sunny.
I like her. I don't know.
So quite a bit taller. 61.5, 69. Quite a bit taller.
She
5'8".
She looks nice and like a good. And she's actually a pretty good fighter. Like her last fight was pretty good. Like she had a good wrestling game in her last fight. That path of victory here wasn't as apparent because like her ground game probably isn't as good as Andrade's. But
Jessica Andrade is just the better fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, and all around in every way, she's just a little tank.
Yeah, well, and she proves she's definitely the better fighter because when you have that kind of reach on somebody, you should be able to control the fight. You should be able to control the space, and she could not. I think a big part of the problem was something you alluded to earlier was the fact that there was like no power on any of her strikes.
No threat coming in. Like if you don't have a threat for somebody who's coming in with pressure, then it's hard to get the respect.
And Andrade has power, so if you're going with someone that doesn't have power and you can't, you're gonna. Well, you saw what happened.
Especially like not having no tools to keep herself out of like clinch range and boxing range, where she needs to be out in long range distance and doing like kicks and having that space. But getting crowded like that and having no like movement or even like counter strike to even get somebody off you, it's like gonna be a short night with somebody that powerful coming at you. So.
Yeah, and Andra, she's just so powerful. She just picks everybody up and slams them. And then we did almost get to see Chukagian get the
proud of you.
Look at me like, all right.
Like, am I doing
proud
this right?
son?
We did get to see some of her ground game, but she quickly and wisely decided to let it go because she was about to get rampaged.
Yeah,
you know, she was picking her up. She was like, "Fuck this, let me go."
But like, I mean, some of the slams, it's like that power is going to diminish eventually. I mean, over the course of 3 rounds, she should have went for more takedowns herself and tried to get top position because I feel like it's a little safer, especially with something that powerful striking wise. Yeah, her being on her back nullifies that a lot. So.
Well, yeah, and I think Andrade being on her back against somebody that is so long-limbed would have also been a different story.
Yeah, so like maybe it's just like bad gaming planning maybe on
like
her,
if you think about it, like if Andrade is on her back and Chukagian's on top, like she probably couldn't even like reach her, right?
Yeah.
short ass arms.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what kind of like mount or stack she had on.
It was a very vivid description, by the way. Like,
I'm good, man. I'm good at what I do.
Her laid out just on her back, and
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Ah, Jesus, Jacob, edit it out.
Yeah.
Edit it out.
There's probably a Sherlock forum for something like that. If you're gonna type that out somewhere.
There's probably a lot of forums for it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fucking A, okay. God damn it.
But I think this fight puts Andrade like as the number 1 contender because this division is pretty,
I'd like to see her versus Valentina.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it presents the most problems for Valentina, to be honest, out of anybody else in the weight division.
Well, Valentina's smart enough to utilize her range and her reach.
Yeah, well, I think she's probably technically the best striker in women's MMA.
Yeah. Probably in the whole one of the best strikers in the UFC, I think.
Period.
Yeah. Like, men and women.
Yeah.
Yep. And I feel like though, like Valentina I feel like she'd do a lot of takedowns and have a grapple heavy game plan against Andrade if they fought because I feel like she's stronger than Jessica. Just like by their fights. So I feel like but she has the most finishing ability of anyone that Valentina could fight. So it's more of a dangerous fight than somebody else. Like I don't Maya. Like Maya's path of victory is like grappling.
Please,
and it's terrible.
It's Ortega's old path to victory.
Yeah.
Like, please let me grab you.
Yeah, I have no takedowns or any way to get a takedown, but just let me clinch you and try to get you down on the ground.
So she's not related to Damien.
I mean, I would hope for her sake she is. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I have no clue.
I'm sure that's easily Googleable. Googleable.
Googleable.
Yeah,
Googleable. Jacob, is that a Googleable thing?
Yeah, what is it?
Is Jennifer Maya related to Damian Maya?
Yeah.
I don't think they are.
Jennifer Maya.
It might be like one of those like back in the day with Vitor Belfort.
MAIA.
That's what I thought. MAIA.
But remember when Vitor Belfort was like...
Oh, wow, someone's already looked.
Not surprised. Can we just get a yes or a no? I don't want to read their whole fucking Wikipedia.
Who's asking where does Damian Maya train? Like
Brazil.
Or Damian Maya or Cyrus Maya relate? All right, it's actually not very easily.
Oh, it says no.
Well,
who the fuck is Osiris?
Wait, it says no. That's Jennifer. Well, it mentions her.
No, that's Jennifer. Right.
All right, well, that's enough of that.
It's on it's on Sherdog.
All right, this is.
All right, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This kind of makes it out to be like they wouldn't be if that's a common surname.
They kind of have a similar face, though.
That's enough for me. That's enough for me.
It's enough for me. That guy wins. They're related.
Yeah. If you read it on Sherdog, it has to be true. There's no way that they lie on that for.
All right. But yeah, so the fight ended up being ended by a body shot, KO, TKO, and man, it was right to the liver, and there was an extreme amount of pain on Chukagian's face. God,
you had it before,
and
you lost it. You didn't say it enough times.
It's just that word for him. It's just that one.
Chukagian You could see the pain on her. I mean, she literally tried to run away.
Whenever she got hit the first time, it looked like she like stubbed her toe. Like she jumped and like hopped.
It
I'm like,
it did.
I'm like
motherfucker.
yeah, it was like hitting your elbow or something like that on something.
Yeah, like
It
a
was
funny bone.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's a weird reaction to a body shot, but
Right.
I've also never been body shot like that, so I don't know, how you react.
Well, and also when she first threw it, from the angle you saw, you wouldn't have expected it to be a liver shot because she hit her on the opposite side of the body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like her entry point was on her left, and she hit her on the right side of her body. It was crazy.
But then she had killer instinct in finishing her when she had hurt too. So, I mean, yeah, like this division is so wide open that like one good win against the number one woman puts you in a title shot pretty fast.
Yep.
Well, with Valentina Shevchenko and Amanda Nunes, any weight class there, and it's wide open because it's like, who the fuck are the rest of you?
I want those two to fight again. I want to see that again.
Yeah, because I feel like the second fight was very close.
Yeah.
That was a very close fight in terms of Nunes.
A lot of people think Valentina won.
Yeah, I mean, like it was actually really the fight was kind of boring, actually, if I remember correctly. I've only seen it twice back then, but like it was very boring. But like, I mean, it was close. The rounds were close. Every round was like a toss up, pretty much. But.
Yeah. All right, well, moving right along, we're going to hit Ortega versus the Korean Zombie.
This made me so happy. I love Brian.
Really?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite fighters for sure.
I was rooting for Zombie hard.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm upset for Korean Zombie because, he is 33. I don't know how much of a chance he's going to have making another title run other than this. But it was a decision. It was a dominant decision. T-City, Brian Ortega, definitely completely outclassed the Korean Zombie, and he did so on the feet,
right?
Which is fucking crazy.
Brian 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he looked like the much superior striker. He was the much superior striker. He had a great understanding of distance. He was using that jab like none other. He landed that. He was creative, too. I mean, he hit that awesome spinning elbow.
I feel like a lot of his path of victory was a lot of like feints that Korean Zombie didn't have as many feints and didn't have as many didn't make him second guess any of the strikes and any of the like distances they're at. So like him sort of feinting towards the leg for takedowns, having that threat there made his game open up a lot more than Korean Zombie's.
Yeah, I think I agree. That was one of the things is how he was mixing it up. I mean, he was threatening takedowns. He was kicking, he was throwing the jab out. I mean, he literally used everything in the arsenal except for jiu-jitsu. And he actually did try to get wrap up a guillotine up against the cage, but he couldn't get his arm behind Zombie's head. Zombie unfortunately looked flat, man.
Yeah, very
flat. Didn't look like he wanted to throw his punches. Like he should have just went out there Leonard Garcia style and just started winging them, man.
Yeah. Well, I think that like he was sort of in a daze after that elbow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he was really in the fight after that in terms of like being able to be spatially aware.
I think he even said in, I don't know if it was a post-fight interview or next day or something, that he said he doesn't remember probably the last.
He said 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
He said he didn't remember 3, 4, and 5 at all.
Which
scary actually.
That spinning elbow happened in what?
2.
Yeah. So that would make sense.
That was his best round too in terms of strikes. I feel like.
Yep.
I feel like he was taking over the striking exchanges, but then he got hit with that elbow.
And that completely lost him the round.
Yeah, because he was probably winning the round, and then he definitely lost the round, and then he lost every round after.
And I feel like he just looked kind of slow. Like he looked really slow.
He looked tentative, man.
Yeah.
He didn't look like he wanted to pull the trigger. There was times where he would get Ortega up against the cage, which is where he needed him to be because of Ortega's movement, and he wasn't letting him go.
But to Ortega's offense, his movement was pretty good, and also his high guard was really good about blocking his punches when he did get in bad ranges. Yeah. He would put his high guard up and sort of nullify a lot of the strikes coming in. So
he just looked so I'm just so happy that he was able to come back from that Holloway loss, because that, as a fan, that loss killed me.
Yeah,
I was
it sucked.
Man, you took so many strikes. I don't know if you're going to be able to come back from this, and you're going to be anywhere near like you were, and then he comes back and does this.
Way better.
Yes, that's my boy.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, 2 years, you don't know how someone's going to look, so it's hard to even bet on him. Like if I were to bet money on this, I wouldn't have bet on him just based on 2 years of a long layoff for somebody. But you compared to how young he is.
Yeah.
Well,
he looked like a completely different fighter.
Yeah.
I definitely would not have put money on him. I definitely would not have put money on him to win a stand-up battle.
Right.
And he's a completely different fighter, man. It was very, very impressive.
I want to see him versus Volk.
Yeah.
I want to see him versus Holloway again, too.
That, too.
I want to see both.
I feel like the Volk fight's very interesting because I think Volk's a very smart fighter. So like he has good coaches and he's in a game plan against Brian, but Brian's also a way better striker and sort of. I mean, like
how crazy is that to say that after one fucking fight?
Like, no, wait, I don't think he's a better striker than Volk, but he's a better striker than he was.
I think he is.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to.
It's kind of hard to judge off of one fight.
But in the same time, it's hard not to say that it is because he just looked so good.
That was phenomenal.
The only thing I can see that would give him issue is the way that he took those leg kicks. And Volk's a great leg kicker. He'll fuck up someone's leg if you give him the leg.
Yeah,
so like that
sure
would need to be assessed in his camp before the fight. I imagine they would know that.
And the fact that he did this without Henner.
Yeah.
Like that was like the big storyline. It's like Henner's not here, and it's like, well, I didn't even need your jiu-jitsu, Henner.
Right, because that's the only guy he kept from his old camp.
Yeah,
was Henner. I don't know. It was amazing. I do think he provides he gives a lot of problems for Volkanovski because even if Volkanovski does take him down, you don't want to mess with Ortega's jiu-jitsu.
Right.
I mean, before this fight, I mean, that's all you knew. Like, he was winning fights with just flash submissions.
Right.
He made me love jiu-jitsu. Like, hands down. That Cub Swanson freaking submission was... I was like, okay, I want to learn how to do this. This is just art.
I'm glad that he has a better skill set now that he doesn't have to take as much damage because that's very concerning. That somebody who was that young when he was taking all that damage in his other fights and sort of winning by the skin of his teeth. It's nice to see him mature his game where he's not going to take as much cumulative damage in every fight just to get a win.
Right.
So like but I think that like the fight against Volkanovski is probably one of the better featherweight fights now in terms of interesting skill sets. Because Volk's great at nullifying
at least
people.
there's some fucking movement.
Yeah.
I was just getting ready to say it's about time featherweight finally was like there's people to make it interesting.
Yep.
It was I don't want to see Volk versus Max again. I just don't.
No.
Well,
everyone's talking about it, and I'm like,
that's so boring.
I get it.
I don't want to see it again.
But I don't want to see it again.
The other problem was just nobody in that division in the top 10 was fighting. Nobody was fighting. It's like somebody, please just fucking fight.
And then they were going up or going down and
leaving. It's like I've been hearing about this fight and then the Yair versus Zabit fight for like 2 years.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been matched to fight for like a year now.
I don't think Yair.
What about him?
I just think that he doesn't want to fight Zabit. I truly think that's what
I don't
it
know.
is,
I don't know why because I feel like he's not that bad of a matchup. In a 5-round fight, Zabit probably fades after round 3 every fight he does.
Well, I so wish that his fight was against Calvin Kattar would have been 5 rounds because Kattar probably was going to.
That's what I thought too. Yeah,
winning that.
And like he sort of ran, and like I think he pushed for 3 rounds too. It was because it was a main event.
It was the Beats camp.
Yeah,
they wanted it to be 3 rounds.
And like they have to know that it's a hole in his game that his gas taking isn't that good because he spends a lot of time spinning and it's like doing spinning attacks and.
You're talking about Zabit?
Yeah, and like it just drains his gas tank, and it's like he could be smarter and more effective.
I think in some ways, to me, it's crazy that he's so high ranked because I just don't see where that comes from. To be honest with you.
The rankings don't mean shit.
Yeah, and the Kattar win looks good now because Kattar has also proven himself to be a top 5.
I'm a fan.
I love his boxing.
Fan.
Yeah,
his boxing is. I think it's some of the best in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, especially like his uppercuts and like his combination with uppercuts, it's like beautiful to watch. So
that's who I want to learn how to box like.
Let's actually get into some matchups. Let's hit these rankings. We're going to start at featherweight. Yep, and we'll see if there's a fight for Martinez. How far down is Martinez? Might be too far down.
I didn't realize how low Feely was ranked.
Martinez is way down
there. I
there.
think Feely's fighting Bryce Mitchell next.
He is.
That's going to be a great fight.
Yeah,
is Martinez really this far down?
That's actually a scary fight for Feely.
Right? Yes, it is, especially if it goes to the ground. He really needs to keep that on the feet.
He's a way better striker, but the grappling game is so good by Bryce. But
no, he's not going to be up that high.
I feel like Feely gets a little too overzealous.
Yeah.
All right, we'll skip it because it seems like he isn't even on here.
If he ain't ranked, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go. Well, we went all the way down to 50 and I didn't see him.
Well,
some of these people like Spike Carlisle. Like, what the fuck?
Don't make up names. We've talked about this.
I don't know. That's weird.
Spike Carlisle. That is a fucking great name. All right.
Some of these guys aren't even in the UFC.
There's no way some of these guys are in the UFC.
These are creator fighters. I'm telling you.
Creator fighters. All right. Let's go to welterweight. I'm not sure Krause is going to be on here either. Where's he going to be at?
And it's hard to know if he needs to step up because it's like I don't know whether he wants one.
Well, the big problem is we don't even know when he's going to fight again. He might not fight for another year or more. He's ranked 24. Nico Price. I'll watch Nico Price fight just about goddamn anybody.
Yeah, he is wild, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel
I've
like
never seen somebody so excited for a draw as Nico Price.
Tony Rocco Martin's pretty good. He just lost to Neil Magny, which isn't a bad loss. Anywhere higher though gets to be like people who, like, we complain about this every week. I don't know if you like, but if you look at the rankings, it's like having Nate Diaz at welterweight just pisses us off.
Yeah,
it's like he's not a welterweight fighter ever. He fights randomly at welterweight against people who aren't welterweights, and it's like he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like having like people ranked that, like Pettis is sometimes ranked in welterweight.
He's a lightweight fighter, and he goes up to welterweight just to fight money fights.
I feel like that's why we need. I'm all about the 165 division. Yeah. So I feel like that's a case where it's like we need, like, they should just go ahead and implement
175, 165, 155. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I was until I heard Roy Jones talk about it.
What
Coming from boxing, Roy Jones talked about all the different weight classes. He says he actually hates it in boxing.
But there's are way more weight classes in boxing.
I mean,
there are way more.
It's like 153, 153.5. It's like shit like that. You're like,
yeah, that's true.
It's like,
yeah.
Maybe that's why they have such a fight against it. They're afraid of a slippery slope.
Yeah, but I think that if you establish 10-pound increments, it's not that bad. Yeah. Especially like for these fighters in between, like Kevin Lee and RDA, who are like too big and small.
Kevin Lee.
But I'm just saying.
I don't like him either.
I'm just saying, like he falls in that category of the body type that it's the 170-pound division is too big, and 155 is a big cut for him.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't know. And also, it gives another pay-per-view main event for the UFC with another belt that could be just as deep. Those two weight classes that would fill those out are so deep.
And Dana's over here like, no, it'll. Oh, what's the word I want?
Would it dilute the UFC?
There we go. Yeah. I'm like, that's not really the word that I wanted, but that one will.
But that'll do the job. He also at one point in time said there will never be women in the UFC. Right. So
anytime Dana White says something, you should just always expect it to be the opposite.
It's like almost like he's planning the opposite way.
Yeah, but he doesn't want you to know.
Yeah,
I feel like the biggest.
He wants to catch you by surprise.
I feel like the biggest jump is like 185 to 205. That's fucking nuts if you think about 20 pounds like that.
Yeah,
I mean they're bigger men, so that 20 pounds is differently spaced out, but like still 20-pound difference in a weight class is crazy if you think about it. But
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think I don't know on that one who I would want to see Krause fight.
I really am all for the Nico Price fight.
That's what I'm more leaning towards.
I don't see how Jeff Neal's so low on this ranking site.
Yeah, that does seem crazy.
He's a fucking killer. Like he needs a big fight.
Vicente Luque is only ranked 16th.
That's what I mean. Like you have somebody like Lawler hasn't won literally since 2016 probably.
Yeah, Robbie should not be up there. Robbie should definitely not be up there. He hasn't even looked good in his past few fights. Dos Anjos, I believe, moved back down.
That's what I mean. They always have like somebody who's ranked in a division, but they have
Chiesa
a fight.
Should be higher than 11.
And Pettis is number 8. And
Diaz definitely shouldn't be fucking number 7. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think about Diaz's last fight? Was
same with Pettis. Pettis at 8 is nuts.
Well, because he has that one against Wonder Boy, but that was sort of fluky, and that's only when he has a welterweight. So.
And honestly, Woodley being at 6 is a little nuts, considering his. I mean, I like Tyron Woodley, but he is. That's not a very good.
It's hard to like him. Yeah, those are a lot of L's.
He's took a few L's in the last.
More than that, it's a lot of rounds lost in a row. It's like 15 rounds in a row he's lost.
Yeah,
he hasn't won a round since he finished. Darren Till.
Yeah.
So
and that was great. I mean, it's like okay, there's Tyron Woodley's like he looks pretty
he's
good.
Back. No.
And then everything happened after that, and it was like, oh.
He likes to fight with his back off the cage, but not throw punches. It's a weird strategy.
And like I feel, and like it's not effective when somebody knows you're going to do that, and they can game plan around that huge that strategy that's so apparent for your camp.
I just gotta land this one right hand.
Yeah, I have 25 minutes in.
I have 25 minutes to land one right hand. And I'm gonna throw it 6 times.
And his wrestling he looks physically weaker than he used to. Like he looks a little less. Strong.
So does that make him like the second strongest person in the division to Kamaru Usman? I mean, he still looks like a monster.
Yeah, he's definitely built.
He's got the biggest legs I've ever seen.
I was literally just getting ready to say I want to know what his butt workout is because I need it and what his diet is because he's got a thick old butt on him.
His legs are like the size of this table.
I mean Benson Henderson's legs were huge too back in the day. He had huge legs.
You know that Benson Henderson fights with a toothpick in his mouth?
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
It's cool, but it's fucking dangerous.
I mean,
Like,
fucking,
just imagine accidentally swallowing a toothpick in the middle of a fight. That's gonna be a problem.
it's pretty badass until it's not. Right?
Right. It's like the coolest thing anybody's ever done.
Till
Until
you
it's
die.
like, wow, that's
Yeah.
the stupidest thing anybody's ever done.
I feel like Leon Edwards needs to fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it drives me
I'm
nuts.
just tired of hearing him chirp.
Yeah, like
I'm not sure. I do not actually really like Leon Edwards that much, but I don't know if it's necessarily his fault that he's not fighting.
well, I mean, there's a bunch of other English fighters that fought. COVID shut things down. He was supposed to fight Woodley in March.
I don't mean that. I mean, he calls out everybody.
I thought
and
Fight Island was supposed to like nullify
Clear that
all
up,
of that.
right? That's what I mean. It's like all these other international fighters are fighting, and like he doesn't want to fight Wonder Boy. And it's like, dude, everyone else in the top 5 isn't gonna fight you. They're already booked.
And everyone's
fine, fight Kazmat.
And everyone's like, why not fight Wonder Boy? Like, fans are like, dude, you just lost like everything you had by saying that you don't want to fight Wonder Boy on that. Like,
And his last wins are aging out badly. Like RDA is moving back down. Gunnar Nelson and then Donald Cerrone.
Yeah.
And it barely
And
makes your case for top
they're
5.
all decisions.
Right. And he doesn't have a highlight reel. He doesn't have a lot of fans.
And he
There's-
lost that Silva guy.
Yeah, that fucking broke Silva.
Broke Silva.
But yeah, so it's like you just think like if you just and like I think we talked about the last podcast, but like Gilbert Burns literally took your spot by fighting. He moved up and fought whenever he could,
Right.
and like he was so active and doesn't care about like the negotiation aspect of fighting. And like if you just fight, you stay more relevant and you get bigger fights. And if you're as good as you think you are, you should win the fights anyways. Beat Wonder Boy now before he comes up and fights you for the title.
Not to
or
mention,
whatever.
this is how you make fucking money, man.
Right.
Like, what are you doing right now to make some money? I don't know. It's weird to me. But let's go ahead and move on to Crute, because I actually really want to know who I think we all think Crute should fight, because
Yeah, I wanna
he's
look at this.
one of the more exciting.
Light heavyweight, yeah.
Yeah, light heavyweight. Sorry, one of the more exciting
Prospects. He called out Nikita Krylov, which is a great fight.
I almost feel like Dana White told him to when he went over to the table.
So he's 16.
Yeah, he's right there.
He could. Oh wait, I was gonna say Misha Serkinov, but Misha already choked
That
out Jimmy
was-
Crute.
Yeah.
So like that would make sense. I guess Krylov.
Yeah.
See, like
Yeah.
why is Souza ranked? He has no wins there. Like that's what I don't understand. He went
Yeah.
up for one fight, lost against Jan, and then he has no wins.
And now he's 9.
Yeah, but somehow he's above somebody like Krylov who actually has wins
Well,
in the division.
he has less losses in the division than some of these people.
Right. But so does every 185 pounder could be ranked at that point then.
Right. They all switch to light heavyweight.
Yeah.
They're the top 10.
Yeah. Just no losses though.
I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Johnny Walker either.
That's what I was just looking at. I was looking at who
Yeah.
his last 3.
I don't like that fight for Johnny Walker, but
No.
I like
No.
it because even in the fight
think it's a
Johnny
fun
just
fight.
won, he got knocked out like twice.
Yeah.
It just depends on how fast you'd want to move him. If you'd want to do that, or if you'd want to go ahead and put him up against someone like
Maybe
Nikita
St. Preux even.
that's your even OSP. Yeah.
They brought that up on the post fight. Actually, they were talking about it'd be nice to see him go up against one of the veteran names like Rua or St. Preux, but I'd much rather St. Preux than Rua.
Oh,
But Rue's
yeah.
going to
That's
retire after the Paul Craig fight too. So.
As he should be. I mean, I love Shogun, big fan, but it's over, man.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time.
I think that they were trying to make a fight between, was it fucking OSP and some. I was reading about it online. I don't know who it was, but it's like these guys in the middle. Any of those fights there, like I think Vulcan's fighting. He's ever fighting now. I don't know. They always match up winners and winners, so it's hard to tell where they go with
Yeah,
it.
I do think Vulcan had a fight, but I think it got canceled. Anthony Smith is actually fighting somebody soon.
Yeah, I saw that. Devin Clark. Actually.
Devin Clark. Where
Yeah.
the fuck is Devin Clark at?
I think he's back somewhere.
Which is good because
Yeah.
he needs to step
Number
back.
19.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah,
But he's on a 2-fight winning streak. It's weird how he's above, like he's so far back, but he's on a 2-fight winning streak. But then
Yeah.
it says he's fighting Shamil.
Hey, there's that Townsend guy.
Who?
Remember that guy? We were like, well, man, we didn't even know he was in the UFC.
Oh yeah.
He's all.
The guy
what?
with the long dreads.
Oh, he fought like last week. He looked
Yeah,
like trash.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked bad.
He did look bad.
Yeah.
He did.
He just looked big. Like when you're just big, and that's like the only
That's
thing I can.
your skill set?
Yeah, it's-
Big.
and like a little bit of muscle or whatever.
So what's your skill set? Look at me. I'm huge.
Yeah. I played football in high school and I'm huge. And that's it.
Look at my arms.
Yeah.
I'm so tall.
68-inch reach, and that's my. Anyway.
Yeah.
With 78 inch would be actually a fucking good reach. But yeah, it's like I don't know. A lot of these fighters in the back like 20. It's like I don't know. I feel like they fight each other every other week, and I don't notice.
Yeah, I actually would like. I think Walker, St. Preux, or Kirilov. I think that's all. I think those are all good matchups actually.
Yeah,
They need to
I
fight
agree.
though, because it's like this division. It's just fucking fight each other, because like these bottom 10 guys, 11, 12, they need to like move up and actually fight against like bigger names. But a lot of them like lose. You think about like Shogun's fought a bunch of prospects and beat them, and it's like they always get turned back by those. Glover does that too. He fights all these prospects and
I
wins.
know, and that's another like.
I love Glover.
Every time he fights, I'm like, oh,
He's getting knocked out.
This is
Yeah.
gonna be the one he loses, and then it's like, no, he won that one too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is annoying though when they keep taking out prospects.
I don't
It's
know.
like, man, I'm excited for this guy. God damn it.
But I don't like seeing like nice older men being like used as like stepping stones to like.
That's just because
Shit.
we're.
Every division has to.
It's
have
just
because
because we're getting old.
Yeah. Yeah. But like Glover trains in his garage.
Yeah, I do love Glover.
That's the cutest
Yeah.
like idea about him.
That's the cutest.
It is. It's cute that he trains in a garage.
Cute. It's like a real dad.
Yeah. It's like he's just out there training and like while you do your
I want to see like a training montage of
Yeah.
Glover just being cute in his garage.
pushing a lawnmower. Or that's just like a workout.
It's like starting it.
Oh my
I don't know. He just seems like one of the generally like verified good guys in like
Yeah.
MMA.
Yeah.
That you could tell he's just like good soul and cute as fuck. And I have a man crush.
Cute as fuck.
On Clover to share
Yeah.
of all people.
I have dad issues. My dad. Oh no, I'm not gonna do
No,
it.
oh my God, here we go.
No.
We're going right off the rails.
Damn it.
Oh my God. I'm gonna cry.
I
I'm
thought I had it
laughing
under
so hard.
control.
Oh shit! I forget what we're talking about. People are fighting. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Let's go to like the top 5 real
Yeah,
quick.
actually, Ronaldo Souza. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, he should not be ranked.
He shouldn't be ranked. He also has a fight. This site's usually good about having their fights, but there's a fight lined up for Souza.
He
I
might be
can't
ranked at
remember who it is.
middleweight with a fight there though.
Let me look.
Yeah, go ahead and take a peek at
I think he's fighting. Marvin Vittori in December.
that is right.
Oh.
That's who it is.
Is
Yep.
it? Oh, that would be.
That's a good
I think.
fight for Marvin. Actually, I think he's gonna win that.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Middle.
Yeah, middleweight.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. 15 hours ago.
Yeah, I knew he had a fight.
But
Yeah, 'cause Marvin just called out Chris Weidman.
and I think Chris Weidman just called out Hamzat for January, which is nuts.
Why would you do that?
I thought he was trying to fight Izzy. I remember he said he's a bad matchup for Izzy.
I'm not sure which one's a better idea for him,
Yeah.
Izzy or Kamzat.
He should be
I
fighting.
just want to know if this whole thing around. I have the problem with him. You have with Chikagi and Cosmot. If I just want to see him like fight more.
Yeah, we're actually going to get him in the news, so we'll skip over that for a
Right.
second. You did want to see up here. I'm really hoping,
Yes.
as much as Glover's cute and I like him, I am rooting for
tread
Santos.
carefully there. Okay. All right, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one, I think.
As long as you say he's cute, and that's the precursor to what else you're saying, I don't mind. But I think they're gonna match up Ratchik and Yuri Proyaka, which is gonna be a great fight. And like that, those are the two best prospects in the division, I think, right now in terms of the top 10. Like either of these guys could be champions probably.
It's unfortunate we lost that Cyril Gain fight in this card as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're
but
making that in JDS.
that's what I was just going to say.
That's a bad fight for JDS.
yeah.
I'm excited for this Ian Kutabla and
Oh yeah.
It's only the
how do you
20th
say
time
that?
they've been
Yeah,
booked.
like I'm just ready to see it
Onkolov.
happen. Onkolov.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see it happen.
I know. I'm worried about them getting COVID. Like, does anyone know where they're at this week? Because like, fucking
It
put
should
them in a
be
bubble.
in a safe.
Yeah, like put them somewhere contained so they're not gonna get COVID or whatever's gonna happen. Cause
I don't know why they didn't just put everybody that was supposed to be at Fight Island this month or in the beginning of next month. Everyone just come to Abu Dhabi. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's bubble everybody. And
Fuck your families for a month. Just come to this hotel in Abu Dhabi.
NBA did it.
I mean, like, yeah, I guess so.
Jacob,
but they also
and
have
then they
like,
were all trying to sneak in women wearing like
I
team
know.
clothes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she works for the team. Like, no, dude, I saw her on Instagram. She's shaking her ass everywhere.
That's
I
very-
saw her on Instagram.
wow. I didn't know.
Public figure.
I'm just saying.
I didn't know the NBA is that morally bankrupt that they would try to sneak in women.
Well, and then they came out and they were like, okay, you guys can have one person like with you in your hotel room. So these dudes were like going out trying to find girls. Like, are you sure that that's who you're gonna want here with you for
this whole time.
Yeah.
That could be a nightmare.
Yeah, you get some crazy bitch and
I mean-
have fun.
Right. She
You gotta
just
pick wisely.
kills you in
right?
your sleep.
But yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I feel like if they both get COVID, just let them fight anyways.
Right, they both have it. Fuck.
Yeah, fuck it.
Find a ref that has COVID. Let's COVID this bitch up.
Yeah. Let them fight in the sand. In the sand arena.
Out
Right.
on the beach.
Yeah.
How I wanted Fight Island to be to begin with.
16-degree
Yeah.
weather, and I'll have a heat stroke.
Let them fight in the ocean. Hey, Jacob, go ahead and go to women's flyweight.
Yeah.
Let's see
Please
who
don't.
these ladies should be pairing up with.
Jacob, don't do it. Don't go there. Please.
I mean, it's definitely going to be a
Scroll down to
Jessica
50 and we can
versus
laugh. Scroll down to 50.
Scroll down to 50.
to see who's down
Those
there.
are definitely made up people. Look, there isn't 50. There's 37 of them. There's
Shakeo. Oh my
Look
goodness.
at
that's crazy.
JJ Aldridge is all the way down there.
like Rachel Ostovich is like.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, she's not. That goes back to what we were just talking
Yeah, she's
about.
4-5.
Listen, that's what.
Oh, well,
She has a fight in the UFC again against Gina Mazzoni.
Yeah, it says ineligible for rankings due to either suspension, inactivity,
Oh, okay.
moving divisions.
Oh, okay.
But like you look at like I don't know.
Oh, she is. I think she got suspended. Did she get suspended for
I'm not sure.
marijuana?
That's such a
Oh,
stupid thing to be
someone
suspended
Lost to
recently-
Paige
Like,
Van
how is-
Zandt. That's such a bad look.
Yeah. How is Hannah Goldie 2-1
a
at
bad
number
look.
34? 2-1. I think you could have that record next year. Like you could have literally be ranked up there next year probably.
Yeah.
If you're determined and you fight.
Yeah. I'm thinking 2 years.
You could fight 3 waitresses and beat their ass. and be
I mean,
ranked.
if I go to Bellator, yeah. I mean, that'll be easy.
Yeah.
You said you could fight 3 waitresses in a
tou-
parking lot,
Yeah.
an Applebee's parking lot, and
Yeah,
you're
I was
ranked.
just gonna say Applebee's.
The toughest Applebee's waitress
Just
versus
world-
you.
Make sure it gets on World Star. Hope Dana White finds it.
Yeah, just rank you off
Actually-
of a World Star video.
In reality, watch out for some of them Applebee's waitresses.
yeah.
Yeah, where do you think you'd find the toughest waitresses?
Applebee's.
Kings.
Yeah. In Steubenville.
Kings.
Ooh,
Steubenville.
Kings is a good one.
I'd,
Yeah,
I'd say
that's a
some
really good one.
trucker bar in
Yeah.
the middle of
Yeah.
Hodunk, West Virginia.
State Line
somewhere.
restaurant. Remember State Line back in the day?
In Steubenville. Listen, I used to manage the Applebee's in Steubenville. In Steubenville, it is Applebee's. That place a little hoodie.
A little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
I can't imagine the grill line.
Oh,
The grill
yeah.
line is probably just dangerous.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I'm not judging them.
there are a lot of my friends, but yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. As a waitress, as someone who's waited tables, I'd like to see what it would be like in that kitchen.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. How many felonies do you think?
Well, I have one, so there's one.
There you go. One. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's managing. You only have one. You're managing.
Yeah.
So that's a
They,
pretty good ratio, actually.
it actually got expunged. I'm good. But they literally, that's the only place I've almost like fought employees, for sure.
Yeah. You always see the memes online of like,
I actually had to tell one of the fry cooks, I'm like, you know what? Just wait right here. I'm gonna go take my glasses off. I'll be right back.
you're gonna fight him.
Oh yeah, I was gonna fight him for sure.
I mean, how what happens there that it leads up to that? I guess that's a different podcast, but
So it's really it's really busy in that kitchen. And I was the only manager because any place I manage, I want to know how to do everything in the fucking building.
Well,
So
as you should. You're the
Yeah.
manager.
right.
Yeah.
So you'd be surprised how often that doesn't happen.
Oh, I know.
But I knew how to cook every position. So mid was getting crushed. This dude was on fry. A bowl slipped and broke. He literally had nothing on the screen on fry side, and we're still getting killed. Burgers. So we're flying. And he's standing there looking at his phone, and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey man, you gonna clean that up?"
Oh my God. Yeah, I probably would have
Disrespect,
fought
yeah.
him too.
Yeah. And I forget what I said, but I was like, yeah, when it's not busy anymore. And then I went around. I was being a little petty. I'm not gonna lie. My boy Sir from Chicago was doing the meat cutting. Actually, it might have been day one. Either way, but I went over there because the meat cutting station's right behind Fry, right behind it. And I was like, "You want to hear what this little bitch said about me?" And he came around and said something about he was busy too. And I was like, "You weren't." I got in his face like, "You weren't busy. You were fucking playing on your fucking phone." He said something else. I said, "I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you. I'm gonna go take my glasses off. I'll be right back." He left.
he quit.
He didn't quit. He just left.
It's funny how like you can get away with so much in a restaurant. Like it's just like
It-
You can't get away with that in most restaurants.
If I
It's a little
thought-
hoodie in there.
If I
yeah,
talk to my managers at Walmart like that,
you'd be
Yeah.
fired.
yeah. I mean, or if someone talked to me like that,
Yeah. It's a little, like I said, it's a little hoodie in there.
I think
Yeah.
it depends on
it's Steubenville.
how much they need people because it's like sometimes if you're a cook
Desperately.
and you're a great
Yeah.
cook but you're also your
Oh, he
character
wasn't a good
right. But
cook.
if your character's a little like but he's a great
Yeah.
cook. It's like well you can kind of get away with being however you kind of want if you're good.
Yeah.
Because most places like run off like a few good cooks and that's it. Like fucking that's The
Yeah.
back
Oh yeah,
room.
it's a restaurant.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of a necessity.
right, but no, I'm
It's like
saying.
a weird restaurant with no food.
But I was a server for 5 years. I know that there's certain cooks that when they quit, that shit was like it got way worse.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
it's
Like,
worse.
that's what I meant. Like it's just like you can't replace them with a warm body in some
No, right.
situations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I'm just being an asshole.
Yeah. I deserved it. I walked right into it. So.
All right, let's go look up at the
All
top
right,
of
yeah,
this.
scroll back up.
Stop talking about
Yeah, 'cause
Applebee's.
Tired of
Although we are going to be looking forward to and promoting Nicolette's fight in the Applebee's parking lot.
yeah.
Keep
We'll start hip hop
keep an
promotion.
eye out on the social media. Obviously, Andrade versus Shevchenko, but I don't know if she's going to wait that long. She sounded like she was ready to fight anybody at any weight class, including dudes. That's how it sounded to me. In the post-fight, she was interviewed by whoever that woman is for the UFC, but she said literally, "I'll fight anybody in any weight class." So
Well, I
Which
feel,
one, Megan O'Leary or?
I think it was Megan. Yeah, that's the first time I've really watched the post-fight that intently, so that's
Yeah,
why
I
I don't
didn't-
have her name down.
Because there's her and that Laura Sanko chick.
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like Chukagian could fight. I think Cynthia Calvillo, her fight was Scratch.
God, this might be the worst women's weight class.
It's bad. It's so.
135 is
bad.
pretty bad too, though. No,
Both of them are
145
bad.
doesn't exist really, so that doesn't even count.
It's you just have Amanda Nunes holding the title.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what, and then everyone just kind of
It's
coming
like,
up as they please.
I don't want to cut weight. I guess we'll fight at this weight class.
Between 25, 35, and 45, mostly 35 and 45.
Hey.
It's just kind of what do you weigh this month?
Yeah.
I'm going to need you guys to be careful talking about the love of my life like she doesn't even fight in that weight
Megan
class.
Anderson?
Yeah.
I like Megan.
I love Megan.
But she's got a title
don't just
shot.
fucking be
Yeah.
careful. That's
She's
because
a-
she's the only other one that's actually in that weight
Yeah,
class.
she's
That
only
is
legitimate.
a true 145 because
Yeah.
I feel like she is a true
Yeah,
145.
she's huge.
Then you get Gabby Garcia from BJJ over there somehow.
And then there's who else?
Do you know who that is? Do you know who that is?
I know exactly who Gabby
I
Garcia
know who that
is.
too.
No.
No.
She literally fights elderly Asian women in like one FC.
She
I
can come
know.
over and she can fight in the men's light heavyweight division, all right?
Her versus Rumble, right?
Right. Yeah, it seems like an even match. Jesus Christ.
I just had a thought in my head and now
I'm sorry.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
gone.
that's our bad.
It'll pop back up and I'll just.
Did it
cut
have
it
anything
out.
to do with Joanne Calderwood?
It had something to do with that division. With
Well, anyway, Chikugian, I mean, I guess fight Calvillo. It doesn't matter, honestly. These
She could fight Laura Murphy.
just don't fight Roxanne Modafferi. She needs to get out of there.
Why?
I love her. She's a sweetheart, but fuck, that just seems like a dangerous sport for her to keep fighting.
She does pretty well actually.
She does all right, but she is rudimentary at best.
Roxanne.
Yeah.
Oh
She-
yeah.
She's gotten so much better though. Actually,
I do. I,
That's scary to say.
she's been in the game for like a decent while.
she's very easy to root for.
It was before women's suffrage.
Yeah.
Sorry. She has improved a lot. I remember seeing her on The Ultimate Fighter. I remember seeing her last fight. Her striking definitely looked way better, but it was still so rudimentary.
Well, she has some of the best BJJ in the
Oh, yeah.
division,
True.
though. She
Yeah.
does. So like, but
She doesn't
she's,
really have ability to get people to
she's
the
not
ground, though.
athletic,
Yeah, and if you can't get them to the ground,
Right.
really.
It makes it tough.
but when you can, she wins. Like
True.
when she can.
It's true.
I think her last fight was mostly stand up too, and she won that fight.
I still can't believe how she treated Macy. Like she treated Macy Barber so well after Macy Barber talked all that shit.
She's just a good person. Actually.
She
That's
is.
the shitty part is that she's just a good person.
She beat the shit out of Macy Barber.
I
actually.
hate Macy Barber.
Yeah.
Her social media is maybe one of the funniest
I
things.
literally had.
No, I'm talking about Roxanne's.
Oh, okay, I was
Yeah.
talking about Macy's because I followed her for the longest time because I was like, she's young and it's cool to see. And then she started talking, and I was like, oh,
Like,
I
nope.
gotta hit that unfollow button fast. I cannot.
I got blocked by James Vick. On
Is it for real?
yeah.
Jacob's about to get blocked by Dana White.
Yeah.
Why? What are you doing?
We talk mad shit to Dana White about the UFC
and then I
website.
tweet on it.
It's terrible.
The UFC website's so bad.
Yeah, we still gotta figure out what we're gonna tweet him today. I got it ready.
Oh, you got it ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to figure it out.
Wow.
Actually, we can go with if you want to get in there. You can. We can go with the fact that we have actually stopped using your website. It is so bad.
Yeah, that's right.
To say we look at the rankings on the Bellator website and go off of there, and it's a lot more accurate than the UFC website.
Yeah, we actually use Bellator's rankings to rank your fighters because they're more accurate. Actually, Bellator's website is definitely way more up to date,
Yeah.
without a doubt. All right.
This is your actually. Oh, that's your actual Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dana White.
No, I Jacobs. It's like I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I always get confused by Twitter. Like I'm less confused now, but at first I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like who's talking here?
I'm fucking baffled. I have
no
one
idea.
for Gathering of Fools, and it's got like 2 posts on it. So I'm like, I don't know.
I made my Twitter in 2010, and it was inactive for going on 5 years, and I just like brought it back.
It's
and
confusing.
I am
though.
like, what? Okay, this is different. This is different. That is different. What is going on?
If you're gonna try to take fighting seriously, you're gonna need it anyway.
Oh yeah.
You gotta call out the girls on there. You have to like go in there and talk shit to somebody. After your shift,
Listen,
meet me.
After your shift, me and you by the dumpster.
Tatiana Suarez follows me, and that's all I care about.
That's cute.
Oh, that's cool. That's cute. You love cute today.
But that's cute though. I'm very like loving. Let's have a good soul.
It made me feel good because I think she recognized me from Instagram because I tweeted at her, and so she like instantly followed me.
That's really cool.
That's my girl.
No, that's cool.
Okay, her gassing in the last fight looked pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Her neck has been completely screwed up since even before that. So I'm not trying to make excuse. Okay, yeah, I am trying to make excuses, but no, she's got a lot she needs to work on. She needs to work on her hands for sure, and she needs to work on her gas tank.
Yeah. Well, I see an Ultimate Fighter. She was really easy to root for. Yeah, so
she's cool. I like her.
Brendan Schaub loves her.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I can't tell if he's
Brendan
smart or like
Schaub.
actually slow.
Both.
Yeah, like it's a weird where it's like I listen to him talk. I'm like, he knows what he's talking about.
He's
other times, it's
smart and handicapped.
Yeah, and then you'd think he'd have a lot more
There's
insight.
a word for that, I think, but I don't. There's like a certain.
Like autistic. On the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say it because I didn't know.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
but like if you listen to him talk, you would never think he was a former pro fighter. Like he doesn't even come across as that way. Like
No.
talking about MMA, it's sort of like he doesn't have any better opinions as anyone. Like
No.
like you know what I mean? It's like he's like a lot more intelligent.
Sometimes his opinions, you're
Oh.
like, what the fuck are you talking about,
Right.
bud?
I really enjoy listening to him talk, though. I listen to both his podcasts.
Yeah, I do. I like his podcasts.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's weird like when you meet fighters or see fighters who don't actually really watch it. Like I see that a lot.
Oh yeah.
Well, he watches the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, I know he does.
Yeah.
But like they're not fans of MMA. They just do it.
Mhm.
Sometimes I think he's actually a little overwhelmed because he has now they're calling it Fighter and the Kids because now that Callan's out, he brought in those 2 black dudes, and it's actually really good.
Yeah, that was just brought to my attention recently about Brian Callen.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not judging until I know because I always
Right.
loved Brian, but hopefully
that
it's not
circle
true.
was a little,
Seeming a little rapey.
yeah.
Little rapey up in here.
Jesus.
But also like it's really no surprise though. Like I mean like if you look at it like I would be like, oh that's crazy. It's just like well.
I feel like
No,
D'Elia
yeah.
didn't surprise me that much once I thought about it, but Brian, it still kind of does surprise me a little
Yeah, I
bit.
can see Chris D'Elia being,
little
however you
creep.
say his name, being fucking creepy.
Well like
Yeah.
Because he is fucking creepy.
Yeah,
yeah.
he looks like a giant ostrich.
Yes.
Sleepy, a giant sleepy ostrich.
Sleepy ostrich
Oh
With-
my god.
with weird shirts.
I can't unsee that now. It's kind of like when someone tells you Taylor Lautner looks like a llama, you can't unsee that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I said giant ostrich, but ostriches are probably bigger.
I would say for sure. I mean
I'm just throwing that out there.
I've never seen D'Elia and ostrich back to back.
We can probably make that happen.
Yeah. Bring it up. Bring up Chris D'Elia and ostrich.
All right, let's move along. All right, so Andrade, like honestly, she's probably gonna fight somebody before that. I'm guessing. I hope she doesn't.
Well, that fight's next month. Maya, if Shevchenko beats Maya in 4 seconds,
handily, yeah. Then it could
You
happen.
can come back, yeah. You
Yeah.
give Andrade.
Hey,
Andrade
Jennifer, do us all a favor.
lose.
Take one for the team.
yeah, just
You're hurt. There's something wrong with your knee.
well,
I'm over here like just lose.
yeah.
You're like pull out. I'm like lose. Just
Pull out. You don't feel good. You got COVID.
retire.
You
Just
got food-
retire
You
before the
You
fight.
got food poisoning. I don't care. Think of anything. You got bit by a shark. You'll be better tomorrow.
That's a good excuse as to why you pull up a fight a shark.
Oh man.
But anyways, yeah, I mean that could be a quick fight. January,
It could
January
really
even.
be a quick fight. Yeah, that's true.
it probably will be a quick fight.
Yeah. So hopefully we get that fight. To me, that's the most exciting fight in this division for sure.
But it's annoying that like hopefully Valentina doesn't treat it as like a sparring session because like she could have beat Liz Carmouche way worse than she did, and they went like fucking way longer than it had to.
Well, sometimes when you're Shevchenko, you get bored.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
Maybe she just, I don't know.
Like,
I
you
feel
don't
like
care enough to like try, but
feel like
you
that's
just cruise.
What happened to Anderson Silva towards the end? He's like, oh, all right, that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we can move on from that. Let's go ahead and look at featherweight for men. Do this real quick because we pretty much know what Ortega's doing. So Brian Ortega is going to be fighting Alex Volkanovski for the belt. I'm super intrigued by that fight. I really, really like Ortega's chances after, again, it's a small sample size because it's his first fight back, but I really, really like his chances based on what I saw in this last fight against Korean Zombie.
It was just such an improvement that you can't not.
It's insane.
It's more compelling now than
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like an encyclopedia of knowledge over there when it comes to MMA. Have you ever seen a fighter just one fight apart have such a drastic difference in their striking game?
And as far as like improvements, like the closest thing I could see is like probably TJ Dillashaw before he fought Henan Brow for the first time.
Okay,
You didn't see him coming, like getting to that level striking wise.
They call that EPO.
Well, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I'm not.
Yeah, no, yeah. There's no kidding about it.
I hate TJ Dillashaw.
But like you would never expect him to beat the shit out of Henan Brow on the feet.
Nobody did.
did. I mean, he was.
Right.
But also, what's weird
On
about that
another
is
level.
Henan Brow was never the same after that either.
No.
Right. But well, I guess it's like it's someone going higher than maybe the steroids of Henan Brow. Like never looked the same after USADA. He's lost like 5 in a row or something like that. But I mean, like in terms of like development. I mean, like I said, whenever your striking's that crude though, and you are young, and you're not like Ortega seems naturally fighting minded. That he's a fighter.
But his striking was really not very good.
No, it was like I said, very rudimentary, very serviceable. He got wins on the feet sometimes. He knocked out Frank Yeager with a nice uppercut.
Right.
And then it's like, but he had a lot of room for improvement. But it depends on adjusting and surrounding yourself with people to make that improvement. And not a lot of fighters can do that. And it actually makes me wonder how many fighters are in camps that are bad. You know what I mean?
I can go on for days about this. This is something that really bothers me.
Like how many fighters could be a lot better if they were in different camps?
Anybody that's with Edmund.
Yeah.
So that's first.
It's like Edmund, Shabazian. He's so young, and it's so sad to see him at.
Get away from that guy.
Like let's just use Cody Garbrandt. Okay,
Yeah.
You're out in alpha male, which is like, all right, you got killer. There are good fighters there, but there's no real
camp.
I mean, Chris Holdsworth he's a good coach, and you have Uriah Faber, but you saw when he went to go train in Toms River, New Jersey, that he completely changed his game. Mark Henry knows what he's talking about.
I feel like Team Alpha Male sort of was stagnant with their training methods.
I feel like it's just a bunch of fighters.
I feel like
training each other,
and I think they're just having fun.
Yeah,
like surfing, and then coming in, doing a couple of rounds.
And I like Uriah, but the way he handled the Dwayne Ludwig stuff, and like the way he sort of seemed with like coaches, that he didn't want anyone to steal his shine a lot. So there's no really room for a head coach position. But he
is never really coaching.
Right, what I mean, like he doesn't want anyone to get like the credit for his camp, so he doesn't bring anyone else that could help him in the ways he need help.
When I hear Team Alpha Male now, I don't even really think of Uriah Faber. I think of Chris Holdsworth.
Yeah,
because he's the main coach.
Same what happened to his career actually.
I know, and because of TJ Dillashaw.
Right.
And it's actually, when you have that much drama surrounding your gym, that's never a good sign either. That was way, way too much drama.
Well, then apparently it came out later that it wasn't even all that drama, that they just kind of hyped everything up to make it a thing.
I don't know. Cody Garbrandt was all fired up.
But yeah, Cody couldn't
even control his emotions.
I mean, like he needs to leave the gym for good.
Leave my boy alone.
Listen, I like Cody Garbrandt, but he loses control of his emotions a lot.
Hopefully that's over with.
Yeah, I hope so.
I just feel like he just doesn't have the defense and chin to get in the firefights he used to, and to be able to sort of like he can't take one and want to give it back and get in those positions. He needs to be a lot more smart whenever he has.
He needs to be a lot more smart, and he's fast enough to be smart.
Right, and he has good footwork too, and good movement whenever he's on.
His uncle's one of the best boxing coaches out there.
Yeah. Well, and before he won that title fight, nobody realized how fucking fast he was. And I said that from the beginning. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's powerful. He has a chance to knock him out." I'm like, guys, he's fast as fuck. People weren't noticing it, and I'm like, he's lightning fast. That's probably how he's going to win this fight. So he has the athletic skill to figure out that technicality. You know what I mean? You got to get the technical side down more. You cannot lose your temper and go into brawls.
Right.
Yeah.
You've proven it 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah. How do you think he matches up with Davison Figueiredo? Because we've talked about a lot of stuff like that. But
when it was first announced, I was like, oh man,
scary
I don't know. That's a little scary because
Davison's very fast too.
I mean, yes, Cody doesn't walk around as heavy as TJ did, but we saw what the cut did to TJ.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and you're on EPO, and that's supposed to help you.
Right.
Like, So I was a little nervous when that got announced. He obviously has a chance at a fight. I mean, anything can happen. But, man, that little...
Yeah, he's a killer.
That's a little lightning bolt.
Yeah. And that's one of the worst matchups in the division for him. Like, he's one of the hardest hitters in 125.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's like, scary to go down and like, draining that extra 10 pounds, like, your brain's not going to be cushioned as well.
Yep, that kind of worried me. But
I'm always afraid of him getting knocked out in every fight, though.
oh yeah,
Seriously, I'm like
Right.
every
Yeah.
fight. I'm like, it's like the Overeem thing. Where I'm like,
please,
Overeem's getting knocked out.
it's like, are you gonna be tactical and pick your shots and do what
Yeah.
you did against Dominic Cruz? Because when he did that against Dominic Cruz, nobody had done that to Dominic Cruz.
Right. But also, Dominic Cruz actually.
Still, nobody to this day has done that to Dominic.
No,
Right.
not that.
He made him look silly.
Right. But like,
Dancing.
but also, Dominic Cruz is pillow fisted. He has no power at all.
That's true.
So he could get those exchanges.
It's because his
with Dominic.
feet are never on the ground.
I was just getting ready
Right.
to say, if
He's
he
floating.
can find a way to like implement how his amazing footwork in with just being able to
Get some
land
power
a
in
power
there.
shot.
Or just fight
Can't
in
do
general.
that. Can't-
Just fight regularly without picking.
Can't do that when you're a hummingbird.
Yeah. I mean, like, he knocked out Mizugaki back when he came back after that layoff, and like that was.
What have
Shit.
I told you about making up names? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anyways. It's a wash out with you. But anyways, it's like, I mean, he's a great striker, but it's just like he just doesn't fight enough to know.
He's a great mind.
Yeah.
He's my favorite commentator, like by far. And I hate Dominic Cruz, but I
Yeah.
love him as a commentator.
Though sometimes he gets stuck on shit that I'm like whenever.
That's enough.
Yeah.
I can
like
agree with
whenever
that.
whenever Khabib was pounding like McGregor, and he was just trying to tire out Khabib's arms by getting punched on the ground like with
shut
bombs.
up.
Yeah, like
The whole commentary around that fight, that could be a whole nother
Yeah.
and a whole nother conversation. The
My f-
commentary pissed me off.
Honestly, my favorite is, and it probably shouldn't be because it's not like awesome technically, is when they have DC and Joe Rogan together because
They're
it's
just funny.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's just like two people watching the fights with their best friend.
yeah.
Like, oh!
I miss Goldberg though. I miss
I
Goldberg.
miss Goldie a lot. Yeah. But he really had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And
He was like, that guy throws punches
Well, is he
fast.
still commentating for Bellator?
I think he is.
I think he is too.
Because you have him, and then you have the other guy that does the boxing
More
commentating.
Ranello.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember also whenever Cruz was talking about Andrade and Rose, and he was like, "There's no way to slam her from this position and whatever," and then she gets slammed on her neck. I remember like shit like that where like he gets stuck on the idea of something and doesn't really change with actually what's going on in the fight. And, like,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
He gets very stubborn about his perspective on something, but otherwise he's actually one of the smarter, most cerebral fighters I could think of.
For sure.
But yeah.
All right, so let's go back to this, and we'll say for Zombie,
Calvin Kattar or Barboza.
Barboza.
That's a great fight.
I think after that he needs. I don't think
Well,
he
here's
should
my
fight Cater.
But here's my
Yeah.
question for you: who does Max Holloway fight?
I haven't heard much about like when he wants to fight, because it depends on booking.
I'd like to see him fight Calvin Cater.
Yeah, me
I wouldn't mind.
I
seeing
like
him
to
fight
see
Cater.
Calvin Cater fight anybody.
That's
though.
what it sounds like, actually.
I like him.
I feel like you
I-
just said
he's-
Cater like 8 times.
I remember him fighting Shane Burgos back in the day, and that was a great fight. And that's sort of what put me on to his boxing.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
But yeah, like, as far as like boxing, like him and Max, him and any striker is like compelling.
As a fan of Korean Zombie, and like I was saying earlier, he's not going to have too many more chances to make a title run. I think Max Holloway is the best way to keep him in that conversation.
I think
if
it's
he
fucked
wins
up,
that
though.
fight. I think there's a good possibility he gets fucked up, but I think
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to make that run, that's a chance you have to take. You have to take chances.
Right.
You got to.
But I like to see Josh Emmett maybe fight Zombie. That's a great fight too. He's under. He's
He's a dark horse in the division.
yeah. He's old too. He's like 36 for the division. He's not old, but
Yeah, dude, chill out.
I mean, are you a featherweight fighter that's active in the UFC? You know?
Maybe.
His first
You
fight,
are Josh Emmett. You guys have the bald head. You shave your beard and become Josh Emmett.
His first fight back after the Jeremy Stevens incident was it Michael Johnson?
Yeah, and that sick knockout. Yeah,
We just realized how low ranked Michael Johnson is now the other day.
his record's terrible,
It is terrible. We didn't realize it.
but he has like some of the best wins. Like Tony Ferguson. He has freaking Dustin Poirier.
Yeah. He's ranked like 45 now.
Yeah, like it's
Oh
really bad.
my.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a good top 10. But like these people need to fight more.
It's a
Dan-
decent top 15, honestly.
Mhm.
And like Dan Ige is more inflated ranking wise than he should. I thought he lost that fight against Barboza.
I do
Scroll
too.
down a little bit more.
And Arnold Allen's fighting Jeremy Stevens. He's a pretty
Ryan
good
Hall's
prospect.
up in there.
Ryan Hall's hard to book because he doesn't fight often, and no one wants to fight him because he just flops on the ground and does kicks.
He just flops on the
He
ground.
does.
And
He does like taekwondo kicks.
Sounds like you're talking about somebody throwing a tantrum.
It's sort of like that.
I'm excited for. I want to see what happens with this Bryce Mitchell Feely fight and where the ranking goes on that with Mitchell.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't know the difference between Sadiq Yusuf and Hakeem Dawodu. I don't know the difference between these guys. I'm just gonna get that out there. They're right back to back, and like they
look pretty similar.
I mean, their haircuts, they definitely have the same.
Yeah. Yeah, slightly different facial hair. Yeah, I get it. They're both on a 3-fight win streaks.
They should fight each other. So
Actually, one
I know.
guy's on a 4-fight win streak for sure because he's 4-0 in the UFC.
What about Cub? Has he? They
I don't
talked
know.
about anything for him?
I don't know. I know that Lamas retired. Is he out of the rankings? But yeah, Lamas and like Cub's probably right around retiring.
Yeah, he's ranked 14.
I mean,
He's on that Kingdom show.
he was supposed to fight. Is he?
Yeah, he fights. He's in one of the fights. Joe Daddy Stevenson's in it.
Does he get a win?
Oh, Joe Benavidez is in that too, isn't he?
Yeah, he fights too. No, they both lose.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they have?
They have fake names.
Okay. I know they had.
Anderson Silva just did a movie too that just came out.
Really?
Yeah, if you go to Super Walmart, like when you walk up to the movies, there's that thing with all the new releases.
Yeah.
It's just like right there on the left.
See his face. That's
what
funny.
the fuck it is.
I can't. It's something maybe Dragon. Maybe something Dragon.
Dragon.
Joe Benavidez. Whenever he loses in that movie, do they have Megan?
I think it's dragons.
He fights a dragon. But yeah, whenever Joe Benavidez
He
loses,
fights a dragon.
I'd watch that shit.
I'd
No,
watch
you
the shit out of him fighting a dragon.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Invincible Dragon.
All right, preview. We're doing it.
That is it.
There's no way this is good.
What do you mean?
There's no
Invincible. Look
way.
how realistic this is.
It's an ad.
Invincible
This is
Dragon.
sad, yeah.
No, this is not an ad.
This is not an ad.
This is the first
This is
scene.
actually. It looks like this is where we're going to be sitting for the rest of our lives. Maybe try a different one.
Try restarting your device. It says.
Yeah, just restart the computer real quick.
In the middle of the podcast.
Real quick.
Yeah, we'll wait.
7
How
minutes.
you been?
Put our heads down. Let's take a nap. All of us.
I think this movie's fake.
Well, if it is, then they did a
I see-
really good
I see
job
that-
putting out copies of it.
I see that Luke Rockhold's in a movie too. I'm like, who would cast Luke Rockhold in
Who
a
wouldn't
movie?
cast Luke Rockhold?
He's like a fucking black hole of charisma, though. Like he has.
gorgeous.
I mean,
He's pretty.
Strikeforce
He is
Luke Rockhold
pretty.
is a lot prettier than UFC Luke Rockhold. He's aged like 15 years in like
Not
7
one
years.
of these damn links work, huh?
No.
Huh.
I might just have to buy it and bring it.
Just bring it over. We'll watch it on the podcast. All right, last chance here. Come on, buddy. You can do it.
I just think YouTube's not having it today.
They know that we're recording this.
Wait, here he goes.
Here we
There
go.
we go.
Oh.
He just kicked out of the vat.
He kicked out of water.
Yeah.
That's some BJ Penn shit, like to the next level. Explosions, kicks. Well Go USA. Was that the name of the movie company?
Production, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. A cop without limits. This isn't even a Brazilian movie. It's Japanese. Maybe. I don't know if it's Japanese. Has met his match. Ooh,
There
hey.
he is.
He's crying. Sinclair. Why was he crying? Everybody's kicking out of water.
Is Chris Weidman in this? Is he fighting Silva?
It's the rematch.
He looks more cut there. He looks like ripped.
Yeah, well, you can take steroids and do movies.
No way. The Rock's on steroids. He hasn't been getting bigger every year since 2000.
Yeah, and more ripped at the same time. I don't think Anderson Silva talks in this. That punch looked exactly like the Weidman fight.
What if he gets heel hooked?
Yeah, flying heel hook.
I don't know if he's getting the shit beat out of
Yeah,
him
right.
in this movie.
Like, who is this guy beating the shit out of Anderson Silva? I don't like it. Oh, they're just kicking. They're playing pass with a table. These guys must fight like 80 times in this movie. For real.
I can't imagine. Like, who?
Am I wrong?
No.
Look, there's another place. They're flying through the air.
I think we've seen 15 different settings.
Right, a minimum of 15 different settings for these fight scenes. That's because they're invincible dragons.
Okay, well.
I always wonder who funds these movies.
That was just as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, don't buy that.
No, I wasn't planning on it.
I will
don't
buy
even
that
think I'll stream it.
I will buy that documentary like water, though. I love that.
But yeah, like who funds all these movies that like no one watches? That's what I wonder. Like who's making?
Why is it on the featured movies wall at Walmart?
Well, there's no other movies
because they're not releasing enough.
Yeah, there's no other movies coming out besides that movie.
Like,
yeah, it's like that and cartoons.
that was terrible.
That was really bad. I enjoyed it
Well, that
thoroughly.
looked pretty good.
I love bad movie trailers.
You're definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I might swing by after.
As soon as it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to literally count how, like, back in the day, one of the things was to count how many people Arnold Schwarzenegger killed in the movie Commando, which is an obscene amount. I can't remember what it is now. It's like hundreds. But now I want to know how many times those guys fight in that movie, because there was at least 15 different scenes of them
like
fighting.
they're, I don't know, it looks like they're like rivals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would make sense.
They had a nice game of catch with that table. That was cool.
Isn't that an A24 movie? Right? That was like same director as
It was the production company was called Well Go USA.
Oh, I thought it was
Well Go
A24 by the
USA.
plot.
Oh my God! All right, let's get into a little bit of news. We'll start with the fact that Peter Yan and Sterling's fight is official. Thank God!
Finally,
And,
Aljo getting the credit he finally deserves.
Yeah.
and thank you, Sandhagen, because you are the one that made this clear.
Yep.
And the Sandhagen looked like. I mean, I'd like to see that rematch with Sterling eventually too.
Yeah, but it's going to be on UFC 256, December 12th. I'm not sure how I feel about Jan, to be honest with you. I do know he's an amazing fighter. I just don't know how excited I am about him yet. And I do like Sterling.
I like Aljo.
Yeah,
me too.
I don't know if Sterling's going to have the ability to handle Peter Yan's stand-up.
He's a good outfighter. He's good with long range attacks and pretty good distance. So, and it depends on how well they can.
Well, yeah, he grabbed that last submission like an octopus. He just
yeah,
like, reached across the ring and grabbed him.
And like it's different than the Aldo fight because Aldo doesn't really have a wrestling threat like Sterling does. So it makes the striking a little bit different. So
I'm excited. I'm excited that there's finally something going on at 135 that's
compelling.
not TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's the fight that should have been. This should have been signed forever ago.
It
I
should
don't
have
know what the
happened
fuck they
next
were waiting
month.
for.
Yeah.
Because Dana literally I get so mad because he literally refused to say that Aljo that he's the number one contender. He's like, oh, it's Marlon.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you mean
it's
it's Marlon? No, it's not.
Yeah.
Like Marlon, it's like I feel like he is a glass cannon too. If he doesn't win very fast, he doesn't he beat Aldo, but he arguably lost that fight. If he doesn't win quickly, he just fades. He fades instantly. And like whenever people fight like that, I never want to see him fight for a title ever. I never want to see somebody who fades fight because it's like if you don't fucking win the first 2 rounds, you lost. So.
And he's in a weird scenario where he's too big and too small.
Yeah.
Like feels like he's way too short for the division, but he's too big to cut weight.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He has an infant
Stocky.
head. His head looks like an infant.
It looks,
It's
it reminds
creepy.
me of One Punch Man.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
If anyone knows who that is what it reminds me
He has
of.
like
Just
the
looks
most
like a
ripped
baby
body
in
of the
there
division,
fighting.
though. He's like huge but little.
That's
It's
what I'm
weird.
saying. He's too small but too big.
Yeah.
Because he can't cut anything. I mean, dude's fucking ripped.
Yeah.
Like, what is he? He's have to literally cut muscle out of his body. I don't recommend that.
But then he
That doesn't
gasses.
seem like a good
So
idea.
he should just lose muscle anyways. Like he gasses. But then all of his power might dissipate.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it would.
But yeah, I don't think he's ever going to be fighting for the title again.
No, I don't. I would agree with that. Then the other news is we did get Conor versus Poirier. We finally got shut up and fight. The problem is it's a fucking 170.
I hate that shit.
Why is it at 170? We're talking about two people who we're trying to figure out if they're going to be contenders for Khabib, and they're fighting at 170. And they'll treat it like a 155 fight in the rankings. I guarantee it.
Yep.
They always do.
It's fucking absurd.
And like, if everybody did this for every division, it'd be fucking lunacy.
It'd be insane.
It'd be nuts every card.
Well, doesn't this almost make you want to, doesn't that almost even bring more a point for a 165? Like, are you doing it because of, why are you doing it? I don't know.
Well, I feel
I'm a Conor McGregor fan, but I think Conor McGregor's doing it because he's Conor McGregor.
Yeah, and he knows
He just
it.
wants to be I can do whatever the fuck I want.
I truly believe he's a better fighter at 155.
Yeah.
His power doesn't really transfer as much at 170, it would seem.
Well, and also too, I think I mentioned last podcast, Conor seems like the type of guy that does better with weight cuts in terms of mental.
Yeah.
It's like having that sort of structure of a weight cut and that experience, it makes people sharper too. If you're lazy mentally and you don't have to cut that weight or worry about your diet, it sort of fucks you up mentally too. You know, you're a little more off your game than some people. Some people it's a lot better. Their body reacts better. But Conor, I feel like needs a weight cut to be a lot more sharp. Because 145 Conor's like one of the best fighters in the UFC. But then he just, 155 he's great. But 170 he doesn't seem as like, I don't know. Maybe it's just extra muscle, extra weight on him. But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious to see because Dustin Poirier is a completely different fighter than he was.
Yeah, it's not going to go like it was.
Completely different.
I feel like if it gets past round 3, he could win the fight pretty well.
Poirier?
Yeah.
I like Dustin.
Yeah.
I
He's
like
easy
Dustin
to
a
root
lot.
for. He's a great guy.
I was just say he's very. When him and Khabib fought, it was really hard because I really wanted Dustin to win, and then when he had that choke, I was like, oh, Khabib, get out, please get out. And I was like, no, wait, Dustin, no, I don't know what I want right now.
I don't know if I've ever wanted anybody to beat Khabib more than I wanted Dustin to beat Khabib because Dustin's just such a good guy, and I'm not a massive Khabib fan. Like, to me, we might have to go ahead and say he's the most dominant MMA fighter of all time. I mean, he's barely lost a round, right?
Yeah.
His stand-up game is really not amazing, but
it's
it doesn't matter.
Drop Conor.
It's a lot better.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter because he's going to get you to the ground. You're not going to prevent him from doing it.
But I feel like he has some of the best defense in the UFC. His defense is amazing in terms of not taking strikes.
Unless your name's Ali Quinta.
I mean, he didn't do anything really to him. He's maybe landed
Hit him a lot. I think he actually rocked him once or twice too in that fight. I can't remember clearly, but I think he actually did. Because I was like, "What the fuck? What is Ali Quinta doing in here?"
I feel like Khabib has a lot of reactions to punches that aren't really sort of common. It looks like he's sort of out of sorts, but he's just awkward.
Like the Michael Johnson.
He wasn't
they're
really
like, "Oh, Michael Johnson, he's rock," and I'm like, no, he's not.
Right.
Where do you see that? Because I don't see it.
But I guess we get the preview of Justin eventually. Yeah,
we are going to get into that. But I do. I forget why we were even talking about Khabib now. Let's just fucking move off of it.
Poirier, yeah.
Yeah, Poirier. But let's go to next thing is Khamzat. Dana White actually said that the first guy. So we have a lot of people calling out Khamzat online.
I feel like Magny's calling them out more than anybody.
Right, but
the earliest too.
Just a couple of days ago, Dana White, and take it with a grain of salt, but Dana White said that the guy who's going to fight Gazman is the first guy that's going to raise their hand.
But that's not true. Because
it could be true. They could be calling him out on Twitter, and then when Dana White goes to talk to him, they're like, "Yeah, well, we're going to want $2 million."
I don't know. I feel like Magny's been pretty forthcoming about like, "Hey, I'm ready for this fight. Where's the contract at? I'm ready for it." And he doesn't seem like the guy who'd price himself out of a fight like that.
Because Khamzat has replied to everybody that has called him out online and said, "Yes, let's do it."
Yeah.
Every single person he's replied to and said, "Yes, let's do it." Perfect. Yes. Good.
I don't know. I just feel like there's if you go to, can you look up Magny Khamzat? Because I've seen the article and the quotes from him are pretty interesting. That basically there's been no movement from the UFC. No one's even contacted him from the UFC about fighting.
Who, Neil Magny?
Yeah. See, what was this? Wait, go down. Yeah. See, I thought this fight would be as simple as two guys agreed. Get a decent move, but it seems like this fight. I'm not sure if it's just him trying to hold out for the highest bidder as far as picking out the fights that get him the highest ranked opponent, or the opponent that's going to help his career the furthest, or whatever it is. See,
it doesn't matter who he fights. If he does the same thing, it's going to promote the fuck out of his career.
See, like he even says about Dana. Hey, Chimaev was one of the hardest guys to book out there. No one wants to fight this guy, and he turns on and gives me credit for wanting to step up. And here we are a few days later, and there's still nothing in a concrete set in stone for this fight to happen. See, it sounds like he wants to fight him.
Yeah.
He sounds more vocal than most people. And actually, like I said, Magny seems like a pretty good dude. I don't think he has an overinflated sense of like where his standing is. He's not going to get $1 million to fight Khamzat.
Right.
But he just knows that the luster around Khamzat is worth fighting, even if he's not ranked.
Hector Lombard was a guy who a lot of people feared before I fought him. I mean, it's true, but I don't think it's the same. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't really worried about Hector Lombard when he came to the UFC. I was like, so another Bellator guy's about to get eaten alive. This should be interesting. All right, let's move on to the next card. What time is it? 8:03. You have work, right?
What time you got to work?
10.
Oh, that's not bad.
All right, so let's get through this other card, and maybe we'll get this wrapped up so she has some time.
I am so excited.
This card?
Yes.
Yeah. that's the main fight that I want to start with is Uncle.
Jacob Malkin, go down. Look at that black on black fight, the crime there.
You are the worst.
Jesus. Sorry.
All right, so we got Ankalov versus Kutalaba, and hopefully this fight actually happens.
I said Kutalaba. I way butchered that. Or you did. I don't know.
I don't think it matters that much.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think it is Kutalaba, right?
Yeah. I like his name. I like the way his last name rolls off.
Kutalaba.
It sounds good to say it.
I'm pretty sure I messed up the first guy's name. I was like, Ankalov.
In this fight, dude, Islam Makhachev's not fighting Rafael dos Anjos. The fight is it's been scratched like 2 weeks ago.
I know.
It's a killer mustache on Rafael dos Anjos, so
yeah.
Nice work, buddy. But I'm very excited for that fight. Probably one of the worst stoppages of all time for the Kutalaba fight.
Yeah.
And this is, I don't know, the 5th time
And
they've
then
tried to make it.
COVID happened. And
Yeah.
I feel like Ankalov's going to get him again, though. It wasn't even close to the first fight. But, I mean, things could go differently.
I mean, it could definitely change, but it did look like Ankalov was outclassing him for sure. Then Cynthia Calvillo versus Lauren Murphy, number 3 and 4. I'll take that kind of fight any day of the week. I love when you get the actual guys that are right next to each other, the actual people right next to each other, instead of number 15 fighting number 3. But I don't know too much about them. Anybody?
I think Lauren Murphy beat Roxanne Modafferi her last fight.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Cynthia Calvillo won her last fight against Jessica if I'm not mistaken, by decision.
I'm not going to lie to you. Lauren Murphy looks like she's been through some shit.
Yeah, she does.
She looks like the waitress you'd be fighting at Applebee's.
Like, no joke. She looks like she's been around the block. She looks like she's had a hard fucking life. I'm going with Lauren Murphy.
And I'm going to break this news here right now live on the podcast. From 2 days ago from ESPN.com, not on the UFC website, Cynthia Calvillo withdraws from UFC 254 bout with Lauren Murphy, replaced by Lilia Shakirova, or whatever that is.
Oh, okay.
So,
UFC, your fucking website is
There's
terrible.
another tweet for you.
yeah, that was 3 days ago on ESPN.com.
And it is up to date on here.
Yeah.
Yep, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. We're done, UFC.
Wow.
All right.
Wait. So Jacob Malkoun is not black, it doesn't look like. Oh, man.
Wait, why does that look like a boy?
Who?
That does look like a little boy.
Looks like a little
That's
boy.
Eric Silva.
That's Eric Silva.
he's back from Bellator to fight Lauren Murphy.
It's Eric Silva. He's going to go in for the handshake and just punch her in the face.
To be a ladybug type of situation with...
Oh, my God.
He said it's Eric Silva.
You ripped the head back.
I was getting ready to leave. I was like, you can stay here. I'm going to go do your job at Walmart. I can't take it.
Oh, my God.
But I don't know why that fight's so... Like, Philip Hawes versus Jacob Malkoun is that high up on the card now.
That I would rather. Why can't
Magomed or Ankalov?
Right?
Yeah. Like
That's the same person.
Yes.
So why can't Ankalov and Kutalaba be up there? I don't understand why they're there. I'd rather see Stefan Struve and Tai Tuivasa up there,
or Cowboy versus
or someone we've heard of,
or unknown fighter versus Morozov. That would be fine.
I like the idea of an unknown fighter, like as a Royal Rumble type of entrance. Like, who's coming out now? Yeah, like we have no idea.
That would be fucking awesome.
Actually, I would love that.
Yeah, I would be pumped.
Try to guess it off the walkout music.
Right, like,
Edge.
who is it? It's Edge.
But yeah, like, I mean, like, if you're gonna have unknown fighter, clear it all with the medical professionals. Don't release any information. Whoever comes out fights that guy. Fuck it. 'Cause I mean, like, that makes it more interesting for the undercard.
Especially for that fight.
Yeah. And like, it's better if it's like a squash match. Like, it's some guy who's really good that we just haven't seen fight in a while.
Right.
Who's
Right.
Sam Alvey fighting?
Daunjung.
Like, it's the opposite of like
that is.
Kutalaba's name sounds good to say, but Daunjung is the opposite. It sounds terrible to say that name.
That doesn't roll off the tongue.
No.
Sounds like you got to keep
it doesn't
stopping.
roll off our tongues because we're not Japanese, Chinese, Korean.
Whatever
You don't know
it
my
is.
nationality. I could be half Korean.
Well, you might be, but you're not from there, and you don't speak like you are.
Well, that's true. You got
or
me
speak
there.
Korean.
You got me there.
You got smarter than me this conversation.
I'm not gonna lie. It would not have shocked me if he just started speaking perfect Korean, like just right to you.
I
I'd be
can barely
like, God
speak
damn it.
perfect English. My English is very
Rudimentary.
faulty. Yeah, like I feel like the placement on the card's weird with not like Lauren Murphy versus this random.
There can be no way that Phil Hawes versus Jacob Malkoon is up there. There's no way. And Eric Silva fighting Lauren Murphy? No way. No fucking way.
I definitely know that people in a group were like saying like, why is Lauren Murphy fighting like a 15-year-old boy? That looks like he's in his emo stage.
Right, for sure he looks like he's in his emo stage. And again, Lauren Murphy has had a hard life. That kid is not safe.
Oh my
I'm telling
God.
you, well, you can't.
That's the basis from
That is
first to last.
that
That's
is-
the basis. That's the basis from a emo pop punk band, 2004. That man is in Hawthorne Heights.
That man is in Hawthorne Heights. That is the most emo haircut I've
God.
seen in at least 15 years.
Well, because it's been gone for 15 years.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be back.
That's so fucking
They should
crazy.
use a MySpace picture as
with
her.
like the with the rat or the
Oh
what do
my
they call it?
God.
Raccoon tail highlights with like the pink.
Yeah.
Eric Silva, get it
If you,
together.
if you scroll down past that, it's a studded belt under her in the picture.
Yeah. Oh my God, with some slip-on Vans, the Spicolis. Oh my God, and the belt. Actually, the part that latches on the belt is off to the side. And she's carrying.
I know there's a
bag.
running joke on Sherdog that like Eric Silva. Every time they mention him, they talk about how young he is and how he still has potential to be champion. And like he's just a baby. He's just a baby in his career.
Just
He's
needs
like
to reinvent
36 at this
himself.
point.
Right.
Not even in the UFC anymore.
Oh my God.
But I'm actually looking forward to Volkov versus Harris. That's a pretty good fight.
I'm actually looking forward to that as well.
Yeah.
I hope Harris comes in a lot better shape. I don't know if anybody in the UFC has been through as much as Walt Harris recently.
Nope.
So I would really like to see him be in much better shape than he was for his last fight. He looked sloppy in his last fight.
That's a big step up, though.
I
It's a
mean,
big
you
step.
probably look sloppy too, considering everything that happened
I
before.
agree. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking him
No,
for
I
it.
know that.
Yeah.
No, right.
I want to see him do well, and in
think-
order to do well, he has to come in shape.
I think the whole community was heartbroken when he lost.
I think Alistair Overeem was heartbroken.
I think.
Yeah.
He definitely was.
Yeah.
And it was hard because I like Overeem and I don't like to see him knocked out, but it's hard to root against Walt Harris in that fight. And like I feel like it's a fucking tough night out for your first fight back after a tragedy like that. It's
Yeah.
Alistair Overeem, goddamn 80 fights in his career. You know, like
I don't care if he knocks out Dolph Lundgren's son. So
I don't mind Volkov. He's a pretty good fighter.
I like Volkov, but I don't care.
Yeah, there's
you know what I mean?
emotional
I have no
heft.
emotional attachment to Alexander Volkov. I think he's an excellent technical striker.
I think it's a bad matchup too. Though, like Volkov's a great striker and he understands range pretty well.
Yeah,
And I feel like he's a lot more technical than Walt Harris is on the feet. But
yeah.
of course, so was Lewis was not as good technically as
Right, that's
Volkov
my
was,
thing is
so.
he does
Got
get
him in the
caught.
last. Yeah, they just caught him.
Yeah,
Last
He was
15
losing
seconds.
that fight for sure.
Yeah, it was a boring fight till then actually.
yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the rest of the card, like the top 3 fights, are all amazing though. Well, not amazing. Volkov versus Harris isn't amazing, but
Honestly, I
It's a good
don't
fight.
hate the Stefan Struve Tai Tuivasa fight. I don't know if that's going to be on the main card or the undercard, but you know, both those guys have actually been in some entertaining wars. They've also had boring fights, but they've both been in some entertaining wars. And Stefan Struve, I don't know. There's something. I feel like he's the biggest waste of length and
like
talent
his body,
that I've ever seen.
yeah, like it's like his frame is great for MMA and especially that division.
Yeah.
And like he just doesn't use his range, his length
Mm-mm.
well. He has no jab. And like we were talking about earlier, if you don't have a jab and you're that big, you
Yeah.
need to change camps.
You-
You
you-
needed to change camps 6 years ago.
It's crazy to think about the Stipe.
Yeah, he knocked
Yeah.
out Stipe. That's nuts.
Like that's fucking crazy.
He's got the range to keep anybody at bay, and he's got great submissions.
Yeah.
I don't understand how. And I think he's retired twice, so maybe this will be the third time.
And like I feel like he's not very athletic. Like watching him fight, he's
No.
big and he's
I think it's hard to be athletic when
When
you're
you're
that
that
big.
tall.
right. Yeah,
And
unless
he's
you're like
a little unproportionate. Like there's some parts when I look at him, I'm like, that needs to be like your torso needs to be like adjusted differently. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, proportion.
he'll work on it for
I
you.
don't like how you look. You look wrong.
I don't mean it like that. Just like when you're unproportional, I don't.
Yeah.
I think
no,
the-
I get it. I get what you're saying.
I feel like the
They could
worst.
throw
Dominic
you off.
Reyes has a weird
Yeah,
body.
dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has a Crash Bandicoot body.
Yes, Crash Bandicoot. That's exactly right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just like his arms are short and his body's long, and it's like, be a different person. You know, don't be you.
Be a different person.
I mean, it's just like he's great, but just like fuck, you know.
I'm excited for Whitaker versus Cannonier.
I'm very excited for that.
I like Robert Whitaker a lot.
He's also very easy to root for.
Likeable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's like the most humble guy. That's like whenever him and Izzy had beef, I'm like, how do you have beef with
I know.
Robert Whitaker? It's like he's fucking the nicest guy possible.
I am a little afraid for him in this fight,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
do like him a lot. He does a lot. Like they're showing all his highlights, and it's a lot of rushing forward,
Lunging in.
and then sometimes for defense, a lot of sometimes straight back. But the lunging in against the kickboxing levels of Jared Cannonier and Izzy is a dangerous move.
Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't look as sharp doing that against Till. And he
Yeah.
looked a lot more hesitant, even with Till's power and his striking acumen. So I can't imagine how he might try to wrestle Jared Cannonier, which is I don't know how well that's going to work out.
Yeah,
But he might try to change levels and sort of mix it up.
Jared Cannonier has to be strong as fuck.
Well, he used to fight
185.
heavyweight.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like,
Right.
It's so crazy how different he looks.
he's like cut now.
Yeah,
And he was
look
he
up-
was chubby.
Look up Jared Cannonier heavyweight because he looks so much different.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Like I said, I'm always going to root against him because he's cute anon. So,
yeah, I keep
fuck
forgetting that. That's so fucking crazy.
yeah.
Because what? I missed that.
He like retweets like QAnon conspiracies on Twitter. So
Yeah, it's my
it's
nightmare.
very souring on people who I'm like,
Yeah, look at that difference.
Oh my god.
Like he looks
he-
looks like a cute dad in that first picture, and then it just keeps getting crazy.
Wow.
That's such a difference.
he had like Izzy titties.
yeah, it's so crazy.
Wow. I did not know that.
Isn't that wild?
He lost to I forget he lost to
His face doesn't even look the same.
No, not at all.
maybe the hair too.
I don't know if that's the same person. I think they just got somebody else. They're like, hey, your name's Jared Cannonier.
That's Ahmed Johnson, the first picture.
It's Ahmed Johnson.
Looks like a little bit.
Does look, he's not as muscular, but yes. Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, this fight's probably number one contendership fight for Izzy.
Yeah.
And like I do want to see Izzy fight somebody different than Robert because I don't know if Robert's made gains in his game.
It didn't look like it in the
threaten
last
Izzy.
fight.
And Izzy looks better than he did even against the Whitaker fight before. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I because I do like Robert Whitaker, but I hate the QAnon shit. But I'm definitely rooting for Cannonier just because I really want to see that Izzy Cannonier fight. I really do.
Yeah.
All right, and then to the match we've all been waiting for, Khabib versus Justin Gaethje. And I've been an advocate of saying that I think Justin Gaethje has the best chance out of anybody that he's fought since or prior. And as it gets closer and closer, I keep thinking like, I don't know if he has a chance though.
Yeah, see, so the way I look at this fight, I'm really excited for this.
She's been waiting for this the whole time.
So everyone's big argument is that Justin has the best puncher's chance that anybody could have. But actually, in my opinion, Conor would have had the best puncher's chance that anybody could have had. And there was no...
I think that's tough to say, only because I think Gaethje has just been an absolute war. So you see a lot of big power punches, and in that fight with Tony Ferguson, I mean that was fucking crazy.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
fucking nuts.
Yeah.
My argument for saying that Justin Gaethje had the best opportunity was because of his wrestling pedigree, and not because he's going to out wrestle Khabib, but he might have a easier time or a better time getting back up or being preventing the takedown. Kind of like Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell was a wrestler, but the only thing he ever used it for was to sprawl and not get taken down.
I've thought
But
about.
if Khabib gets your toe, you're getting taken down.
Well, Michael Chandler said it best. He gets you in the, what do you call it, the Dagestani handcuffs.
Yeah,
Where
where
he just crosses your feet and
Get your
holds
legs-
them there.
Did you
bind
hear
it
what
up.
Conor McGregor called it?
Did Conor call it that? Because
No,
Michael Chandler called it.
No, Conor McGregor called it the mermaid move.
Oh my god!
Conor McGregor tweets about that fight every week still, and like
Because he's salty about
I know, like
it.
he literally is like he's like, oh, he's such a pussy. Like he always calls him like a pussy. It's like, dude, you got beat up like 2 years ago. Like
Yeah, get over
let it
it.
go.
Like everybody else does, and move on with your life.
it's
Like
he's living rent free in your head, and it's like you don't even. It's like you don't realize how embarrassing it is to tweet about that fight. And like even the Mayweather fight, he posts about that still. Like, dude, you fought him in a boxing rule set. Don't bitch about the rule set you agree to.
Yeah.
It's like don't be that guy.
Yeah.
But I think that like I don't think Justin Gaethje has like he has wrestling, but like MMA wrestling's way different. and it depends on how well you sharpen that tool.
Well, we've never seen it really.
That's what I mean. It's like I've seen Poirier like chuck off takedowns more than I've seen Gaethje. I'm not saying his wrestling's better.
Well, they actually said I'm pretty positive in the stats they were showing last night about the fight that Justin Gaethje actually has the the highest takedown defense percentage.
I've seen him and it's a different fight. But I remember I watched his World Series fight against Brian Cobb, and he was control with back mount for a full round in the first round. He won that fight with leg kicks eventually.
Yeah, and
his leg kicks are ridiculous.
And that's a long time ago.
Right, I agree. But it does give you a pause because it's like whenever you see someone in that position, it's like, well, they've gotten better out of staying out of that position or getting out of it. But how well can they? I mean, if Brian Cobb's doing it at that level of Gaethje.
But what gives me pause is just the fact that it doesn't seem to matter who the fuck is in there against Khabib. He does the same thing. Like I said, if he gets a hold of your big toe, he's taking you down.
It's crazy.
He's not going to let it go. So this is mine now.
The only thing I feel is positive. Just break his toe. Just break his toe now.
Mine.
But I feel like Conor's a cleaner striker than Gaethje is. But Gaethje's,
that's what I meant to say. He's cleaner.
Yeah, and but I feel like that has to do with timing and accuracy. Mm-hmm. But Gaethje's better at creating damage, regardless of timing and accuracy. Yeah. So there's different striking strategies there, and I feel like Gaethje's going to come with that game plan of hurting Khabib and try to push his pain tolerance in different scenarios.
Right.
And Conor was sort of looking for that big shot, and if you can find it, that window closes pretty fast. So I think it's a different sort of stylistic matchup with striker versus grappler. It's different striking, I think. But I seen that Gaethje mentioned, he said at an interview, it's a very weird quote, he said something like that I learned in wrestling in high school that if one guy can hold you down, two guys can rape you. I'm like, that's an interesting perspective on
why would you even say that?
Yeah, who would ever think that?
Why would you? I mean, where did somebody ask you about rape?
We're not wrestlers, so I guess we don't know what goes on. He
said one guy's never gonna hold me down. So that's what he said. So whatever you need to tell yourself to not get wrestled by Khabib, I guess.
I guess.
Like if he holds me down, that means he's raping me. Yeah. So I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Maybe it's a little wishful thinking on Gaethje's part.
Oh my god. Anyway. Where do you guys think that?
Because they come after me for saying that.
Where do you think that Michael Chandler fits into?
I think he's top 12. I don't think he's as good as his.
Yeah, go to lightweight rankings.
I don't think his ranking coming in is going to be as indicative as where he actually is because I feel like he is unproven. He's good.
Michael Chandler's probably my favorite fighter in Bellator, aside from Gegard Mousasi.
Gegard Mousasi is my favorite fighter.
He's my favorite fighter in general too. So
yeah. He has the best fighting style, by the way.
He's so technical.
His jab is amazing.
We're
like gushing over.
That's my man. That's my other man. He's
you know what? You guys are so cute.
But the competition in Bellator and the talent in Bellator is just so hard to gauge when a guy comes over to the UFC, and I feel like he fits into the top 8.
Yeah, I feel like though he's a little older and he's a little more chinny than he needs to be. He just he's been knocked out a few times. He's a great wrestler, great puncher. He actually looked the best against Henderson that he's looked in a while.
I know that was a good fight.
But the Patricky Pitbull fight, it's that makes me worry a little bit. But he hits hard, so it's whatever.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we've only seen one person have really any amount of success coming over from Bellator, correct? Eddie Alvarez.
We have Alvarez. Depends on how, because I know that Volkov was a Bellator fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on, because some people just go in for a fight and they come over. But Alvarez is actually won the championship, so it's probably Alvarez. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his fights with Eddie Alvarez were amazing.
Yeah.
Right. But the losses, the Brooks look really bad in retrospect because Brooks washed out the UFC really fast.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know.
And then Hector Lombard. The list goes on and on.
Michael Chandler talks about those losses in his podcast with Joe Rogan. It was pretty interesting to listen to. And
I feel like he matched up with Khabib pretty well because chin issues aren't going to be a factor. He has better wrestling game, I think, than Gaethje does. He has more proven wrestling. He has a lower center of gravity. It's harder to get a takedown on him. Better scrambling ability. Probably a better. I mean, he's a worse striker than Gaethje probably, but style wise. I'd like to see him fight like Dan Hooker or somebody like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, of Dan Hooker or
Oliveira.
Charles, yeah.
I feel like that Oliveira matchup is scary for anybody.
Oliveira's a killer now.
He's a fucking killer.
Even maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Ferguson's kind of too big of a, but see, it's weird because Ferguson's on the downslope. his chin isn't as good. I don't.
Again, retrospect, looking at his wins.
Yeah, they've aged, but like, I think we've made the point like all records age eventually.
Yeah.
You look at all fighters, like GSP's record beating freaking the people he beat. It's like, oh, it looks bad now.
Right.
But like, I mean, like Ferguson. I mean, he could catch Ferguson because Ferguson's kind of chinny now too. Takes a lot of damage, but Hooker. Felder, I don't know why he's still ranked. I don't know if he's even fighting anymore.
No, well,
he has said that
talking about it.
There's a couple of fights he said like, oh, if they offered me that fight, I would take that.
Because all these guys that retire that are still like in kind of their prime-ish years,
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
they're gonna come back and fight again because they can't let it go. And I mean, I get it.
That
like,
money
you love
too.
It. And it's money, yeah. But like,
you ain't gonna make $100,000 for a fight or whatever, bare minimum.
I'll tell you what, I'd watch the shit out of him and Drew Dober. I wish Drew Dober didn't have a fight.
But I mean, like I like Quinta too. It's like I don't know who the fuck he's been. He hasn't won since
Selling
Kevin
houses.
Lee. Kevin Lee hasn't won since he beat Gregor Gillespie, who was an okay win.
I wish Kevin Lee would go away. Go
I
away,
don't like
Kevin
Lee. Yeah, I can't. And the fact that he's training up at what is that
TriStar?
gym called? TriStar, yeah.
No.
That gym's not very good actually. I mean, it's a good gym, but like it's only had really Rory McDonald and GSP. But those fighters, you know, could
Once
win
in a lifetime talents.
Right. So they don't really produce a lot of champions.
GSP never wrestled in his life and ended up being maybe one of the best wrestlers ever in MMA.
Right. So I mean, this division's kind of weird because all of these fighters won't take like.
This is such a train wreck.
Yeah, because like no one takes fights backwards, especially even welterweight, lightweight. They don't take fight backwards. So Islam Makhachev can never come up. Like Drew Dober's not going to get as many opportunities.
Oliveira can't get a fight.
That's what I mean. Oliveira's not
It's
going
fucking
to fight.
crazy.
Exactly. Like Oliveira can't fight anybody because he's on a name, but he's fucking good.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like these fighters just wait around for the other good fighters to become free. Then they fight each other, and that's all. There's no movement.
No. It's log jammed. It's
Yeah.
always log jammed. And then, I mean, not that I'm mad about it, but you have a completely and utterly 28-0 dominant champion that
Right.
doesn't really look like he's gonna give up anytime soon.
And he fights
so-
once a year though, so there's not a lot of opportunity to fight.
And he
fight
doesn't
him.
take
No,
any. But
right.
what's crazy about him only fighting once a year? He doesn't take any fucking damage.
Right. But then like,
I mean, you have to cut out the however long it is for Ramadan.
I hate that every year. I'm like fucking.
I
These
know, it's like
months,
once
I'm
it
like,
comes
God
around.
damn
I
it.
can't
And
lie.
I only know it's Ramadan because I know Khabib's not fighting.
Yeah.
And I actually don't even like that name, Ramadan.
I don't like it
There's
either.
something about it that throws me off.
Should change it.
Right.
I know there's
Well-
like 1,000 years of history behind the name, but
But
should change it for the sake of you.
And though you have to think, I mean, he came off a suspension with the whole bullshit, and then Ramadan, and then it just seems like
his dad.
His fall, every
his
fall he
father-
fights. Like, but he doesn't like if he beats Gaethje and doesn't take that much damage, which we'll see what happens. But like he fights in September, get a fight in March. Fuck it. I
Yeah.
mean, like I
I
don't
can see that.
I just don't like when you have that gap, you should make sure you fight before Ramadan and fight after Ramadan.
Yeah.
If there's 4 months out of the year, you can't train or
Like plan
fight.
your life around
Right.
it.
Right, and like he's just so big now that it's like he's all this money. He's been champion. It's like he doesn't want to fight that often. I don't think.
No, and probably like you had said, losing his father. That
Yeah.
is. I mean, his father was
Please
a big part of him. So.
Don't mention. I don't want to talk about it, guys.
Oh my god! Why does everything keep circling back to that?
I didn't bring it up actually,
I
guys.
know. Well, technically you did because you said don't bring it up, and I really wasn't.
You
bringing it
guys
up.
mentioned it, but I knew what you're really getting out here. I knew we're in the conversation.
We're
to
gonna
go towards.
we're gonna get into Brandon's
All
feelings.
right. Well.
The one more thing I wanted to say about Chandler is something that we also have to wait and see is USADA.
That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say that
he's
too. 'Cause
pretty
there's a
buff.
lot of chirping that he's
pretty
on
buff.
the juice. But if you, I follow him on Instagram.
He works out like crazy.
He's a workhorse. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know. I'm like, save that one, save that one. We're gonna save that one.
Try a little bit of it. Like no, you
He's
can't.
another
Yeah.
one with a big fat butt. Like,
You're really looking for these butt people.
I am.
We should do
Need
a
to work out.
top 10 fat butts in MMA. And you should come with your best
Don't
list.
worry, I can probably give you a top 20.
I like to see it.
I'd like to see it. Who's got the best butt in MMA?
I like to see the butts too, as you talk about them on the screen.
Oh, right, we're gonna
That's
need
Jacob's.
Jacob, we're gonna need this set up.
Yeah.
You're gonna do a lot of looking at dudes' butts.
What's new though, right?
Hey, Brandon, I'll give you the cute butt list.
I'll give you the cute butt list.
Glover. No, I don't know if he has a cute butt. Or not. Cute old man butt.
Cute old man butt. Jesus Christ.
Top 10 of those. Shogun.
Oh my
Shogun
God.
is up there. His-
Shogun's got a good old man butt. Oh my god.
the higher the weight class, the more old man butts you get. It's like light heavyweight's prime.
Oh my god!
I quit the podcast. So I'm not doing another episode.
I'm not doing another episode. This is it.
Yeah.
Do we?
Last one.
What's the next event? But actually, I will
After-
say because it's coming up. So let's go ahead and put in our
Silva versus Hall.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's write down our.
Let's put in some picks here. So let's
Start with I guess
Whoa.
start with. Do you want to start with Struve or Akolov?
Angelov. That's fine.
All right, Akolov. All right.
I think Struve's gonna beat Tai Tuivasa because Tai Tuivasa's not that good.
so
right.
so let's leave it alone
Yeah.
because that's what I was going to say as well.
Yeah, like he's like literally like a brawler that's not even that
Yeah.
good at that doing that really. So
I am actually going to go with Akolov
Same.
on that fight. As much as I love to say Kudalaba's name.
but like Kudalaba, I hate his personality.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a dickhead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it's just like he was like he just is angry all the time for no reason. And like I guess the reason is why you're gonna fight somebody. You're gonna fight somebody. So you I guess you're angry for that reason.
Right.
So
Maybe when he's not in fight mode, maybe he's like the nicest guy.
I don't know. He just
I'm gonna go when we're talking about Eric Silva versus Lauren Murphy. I am going to go Lauren Murphy.
Oh, I would really, really hope so.
I just feel like Silva's young in his career and he has a lot more potential in the future. He's like a baby, really.
He's 8-1.
Yeah, 8-1, only one blemish on that was early on too.
Early on in his career, I'm going Lauren Murphy because she looks like
She's been through some
she's
shit.
been through some shit. Like there's been some wars,
Yeah, domestic violence war.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my.
drug addiction maybe. I don't know. She looked like she's been through some shit.
She
That's
looks.
all I'm gonna say.
She probably has her CDL, if I were to guess. I mean, just based on how she looks, she's probably trained on the road.
Straight up. She's got a bunch of kettlebells in her truck. All right.
Seen her working out at King's parking lot at some point.
Jeez, so
Oh my
much.
god.
I don't want to fight her.
Like if that's on your path to getting there, you're like, no, never mind.
I might pull
Pull a Yair,
Pull out.
right? Yeah, pull out the
Yair.
fight.
All right.
Phil Hawes versus Jacob Malkoon.
I don't really know
I don't know
either
who
of these
either of
guys.
these guys are.
It was a toss-up before I found out that Jacob is white, so now I'm going Phil Hawes because that's a good enough
Reason for me.
Yeah.
I agree.
All
right. Walt Harris versus Volkov. There's no way in hell I am rooting against Walt Harris.
Well, it's a question rooting for or picking who's going to win because there's different. Because like
yeah,
I know. It's
yeah.
toss up.
I'd say Volkov's gonna win.
I'd say Volkov's probably gonna win, but I can't write it down.
It's like if you just like put something into the air,
Right.
maybe it'll happen.
Right. I just can't. I can't not write Harris's name down. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I have to write his name down.
All right. Well, I'm not going to make you write down Volkov. Don't give a shit that much.
Stop
but
staring at me. Robert Whitaker versus Cannonier.
see, like this is the opposite. I'm rooting for Whitaker, but I think Cannonier's going to win.
I think Cannonier's
I think
win.
Cannonier's going to win. I just think his striking is going to be at a different level.
Especially if Whitaker comes in.
Lunging
Just lunging in straight forward.
And especially if it doesn't look any better than he looked against Till. That he looked rusty against
Yeah.
Till and sort
Yeah.
of like slower. I don't know. I feel like the Izzy fight sort of in the wars against Romero too took a little bit off his career.
I think Cannonier's an amazing technical striker. He comes from the kickboxing world, and he's got a lot more power.
Yeah, and it's crazy that Ray has knocked out Cannonier at light heavyweight. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, when you have a weird fish body.
Yeah. I guess you can knock out Cannonier. That's the only thing you need. Whitaker doesn't have the same body, so he's not going to knock him out.
Dominic Reyes kind of has the same body as that dude who did win all the gold medals
Phelps?
for swimming. Phelps.
Yeah, he does.
does.
He doesn't have a Phelps body.
Like really small legs, like a dolphin. I don't know why.
He should be a swimmer.
Dolphins don't have legs, but,
But you know,
okay.
their tails
Well, they're
are
so
small.
small you can't see them. It's very subjective.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, Khabib and Gaethje. Khabib.
Yeah, like I have to go. I mean, like, also Kyle told me to mention that he picks Gaethje, and I think he wants Gaethje to win more than.
Then he believes
thinks,
it.
Yeah, I think
Kind of like me with Walt Harris.
I think he's Kyle's sort of committed to the idea that Gaethje is very dangerous, which he is, but like he just is embellishing on how dangerous he is and whether or not he's gonna get an opportunity to be dangerous. I don't think it's gonna be there.
Yeah, I would actually love Gaethje to win. I think my main reasons are. I mean, I ended up liking both. At first, I hated Khabib just because of his style, but now I not only respect his style because for him to just do it to everybody is crazy,
Right.
and also he does actually kind of seem like a legit good guy.
Yeah.
But Gaethje also seems like a good guy, and I just think it actually opens up the division a lot if Khabib is not the champion.
Well, I don't. I like active champions. So like I just generally like active champions more. So if Gaethje were to fight more than Khabib, like it's like.
Which you probably would.
Yeah, like it's hard to want somebody to fight once a year, or like seeming like they only fight once a year. If that seems to be the trajectory for the past 3 years, it's kind of annoying to have a champion like that. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I like them both generally as people. I just feel like Khabib is, I mean, a lot better shape than Justin is, and there's a lot of factors. I think
It's just weird. It just seems like when he gets his hands on you, there's nothing you can do about
I'm
it.
telling you, Brian Ortega is a bad matchup for Khabib.
Oh yeah, I forgot you did say that.
Yeah, I feel like if he went up to 155, his grappling is so good and his striking looks
His jiu-jitsu.
phenomenal now.
He could, he could definitely wrap something, one body part up,
And it creates a lot more interesting dynamics on the ground with somebody that high level at BJJ. So like I feel like that could be an option in the future. I don't know if Khabib's going to be around long enough for that to materialize.
Actually, for the last couple, I mean, I know they were always talking about him, like, oh, he might retire after this. The last couple of times I've heard him talk, he's been talking about how he wants to be known as the best MMA fighter ever. And I think in order to do that, that still means you got a few fights left in you.
Yeah.
And you got to fight Ferguson, and Ferguson wins another fight. If Ferguson beats somebody else, you have to give Ferguson a fight against Khabib.
Yeah, because nobody that's in the community, the media, or anything will ever give him that. You'll be like, oh, well, that was the fight that everyone said that you were going to lose.
Yeah. You're not. It's always going to be the what if.
Right.
And for me, because I hear that argument all the time now. Like, that was the fight that we all knew you were going to lose. But after seeing what Gaethje did to Ferguson, I just don't hold any water to that.
Nope.
That was crazy.
I mean, but that's a different fight.
I know it's a different fight, but he made what's the difference going to be? He's going to be on his back the whole time. What's he going to do?
Well, like is his guard game and his jiu-jitsu and his bottom game better than his striking? Probably. I'd say his guard game and his screaming ability and his ability to create damage on the ground. His striking's always been Ferguson's boxing's always been kind of weird and off.
It's always been weird,
And
but
he
so
gets
is
hit
his
a lot.
grappling.
Yeah.
He just gets hit a lot.
But the only thing I can see, because I remember whenever Ferguson got out grappled and on the bottom against Danny Castillo back in the day.
Yeah. And his grappling itself is also weird. Everything he does is weird and different.
He's just weird.
Yeah, he's very fucking weird.
He's just weird. And the fact that he was able to rehabilitate his knee himself in the time that he did it, like, what?
Yeah.
I feel like Ferguson's fucking, like,
Stop
when he's
wearing
gone,
sunglasses inside. He's a crazy person.
We're going to fucking miss, like, whenever you find fighters, like, he's so fun to watch, I think, as a fan, even if you don't like him. He's, like, you're going to miss him when he's gone, because, like, you can't ever find another Tony Ferguson come through the UFC. He's fucking nuts.
One of my favorite things ever is when he was yelling, him and Khabib were having a face-off, and he was yelling at Khabib, take your sunglasses off. Take your sunglasses off. Khabib's like, I'm not wearing sunglasses. You're wearing sunglasses.
It's like
well, I don't.
Why would you yell that?
What's happening right now?
Yeah. It's a good mind trick.
Like, no, dude, you're wearing sunglasses. What's wrong with this guy?
Like mind fucked him about it.
Right.
I think that's why Khabib doesn't want to fight him, because he fucking mind fucked him that hard at that stare down. He's spooked.
And then he tripped over a cord.
But did you see that Khabib was talking about Chandler saying fight Islam Makhachev?
And he'll be the number one. He would view him as the number one contender. Yeah.
Well, because it's annoying to have somebody in the division like Islam who can't really get to the title shot because his like best friend and training partner Khabib is a champion. So I feel like the UFC doesn't want to push him as well as they could, knowing that he can't ever fight for the title unless Khabib retires or moves up or whatever.
Right.
All right. Well, I think we can actually go ahead and wrap this up. I think it was awesome. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did too. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, and thank you for coming.
No
I think
problem.
you did. I think you did good. Or did the nerves dwindle
yeah,
away?
they were gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really. I mean, once I start talking about something
What you know
that I
about.
like, that's just it just starts coming out.
Yeah, when you know about it and have the information, it comes fairly easily. Sometimes not for me because I'm not in the right mind frame. I beat my body up.
I have very bad short-term memory loss, so if there'll be times where I'm like, well,
It's all right.
let me look this up real quick because I don't know.
Brandon, you did great as always.
Oh no, you guys are being nice.
We're gonna talk about some stuff
You
when we go
blocked me
off
on
air, man.
you blocked me on Facebook. never contact me again. Scrub my name from the history.
History of
The archives
MMA
are
polls.
scrubbed. There's no episodes of me on there ever.
Yeah. No, Jacob, thank you for everything you do, brother.
No
And we love you guys. We'll see you
All
next
right.
time.
See you. Oh.